Captain Marvel, we need you to save the world.
Then let's do this.
It's time to talk movies. This is the Screen Blast Podcast. Today we're talking about the last MCU movie of 2023. I am your host, Bryan the Baltimorean. Of course, find me right here on Screen Blast. Of course, find me on at Democracy, ATHEMOCRACY.com. Joined alongside our guest, the sir himself.
Martin, how's it going? Great to be here.
Do you have any places that we can finally call out to the world yet?
Nice.
The strip club.
And of course, the man that just spoke out loud.
Give me that back. Canine biscuits.
Who are you again?
The guy who's by the strip club.
Anyway, guys, this is the Screen Blast Podcast.
Strip club podcast.
One of many podcasts in our collection here. We recommend, of course, many things when we throw it out here before we get to the main stuff. So, want to recommend episode 28 of Cartoon Chat. We talked about a very cool 90s sitcom, Duckman. We think it's worth a listen. Alongside the rest of our lineup, we've got Stream Blast, which is about streaming content.
Watch Duckman, Martin?
Not for a while now.
Yeah.
Oh, you watched it before?
I used to watch it.
You like it?
It was fun.
There we go, guys. That's a recommendation from Martin. Of course, you can also check out Blasting Top Reports, our video game-centric conversation. Mark, what can they have on our podcast lineup?
Not $10 million, but, yeah, they have a Cow, which is our, pretty much our chill-out podcast where we talk about the news topics, we'll watch some memes, cartoons, and whatnot, and talk about our travels, mostly mine, because Bryan doesn't get off his ass anywhere.
And of course, you can send to us questions, topics, ideas, and more over at screenblastpodcast@gmail.com. That's screenblastpodcast, all one word at gmail.com. Let's get into
The news!
the Marvels.
Higher. Further. Faster.
Show them what we got.
Phase 5 has not gone fantastically, we could say. It has not gone the way that Marvel wanted it to, the way that even fans wanted it to. So, I mean, you know, we talk about, hey, let's start off on a new leaf. Phase 4 didn't go well. Let's hopefully do a pretty good job.
What are you talking about? No Way Home was great.
No Way Home was great. And we thought everything was going to be great after that. And we got Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and Thor Love and Thunder, and Wakanda Forever. And then we thought,
no. They re-released No Way Home again.
when did they re-release No Way Home?
Like an extended cut. I think it was like last year or something.
Yeah, but they also had Thor Love and Thunder, and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness,
Yeah, but
and Wakanda Forever.
No Way Home came out twice.
And so we were looking for the highs to come back from Phase 3 in the past, from that Infinity Saga. Thus, we looked forward to Ant-Man Quantumania, and that was a flaming pile of trash. Then we saw Guardians Volume 3, which was a great send-off for a number of characters, and a good legacy for the remaining ones that are a part of the team. Secret Invasion was a massive lull, and we'll talk
Wait, hold on. Secret Invasion. It looked like it was a hype. It looked like it was the type of Marvel we knew from Winter Soldier.
Yes.
And then it came out to be a big oof.
Absolutely. That was an absolute failure. And the fact, by the way, that, again, this came out this year. Secret Invasion came out earlier this year. It felt like, you know, this had some relation to do with the Marvels, in fact. We see him...
It gave us interest to watch the Marvels.
At the very end, he goes from a ship up to... Where does he go, Mark? Up to a space station, right?
Yeah, when I saw the trailers, like, what the fuck happened? Because he looked old and beat up. So it's like, what the hell happened in the Marvels that made him that fucking had him like this?
Yeah, because
stay tuned in our review.
He looks great in the Marvels trailer, and then it's like, what the f happened in Secret Invasion? And here we are. And then obviously now we've got Loki, which we'll talk about. But I mean, we can say very briefly, God tier, good job.
You finished all Loki, fucking mootin'.
You finished it, right?
Oh, he's talking to me. I don't hope
you finished, Mark. You finished Loki.
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah, you're here on the pod, the sir himself.
Oh, yeah, right, me.
Yeah, you're over here sitting here.
Morton!
Who are you talking to?
I'm like Morton. I'm like...
More time!
Salt.
I was thinking the Koopa.
But you've seen Loki rather briefly. Good stuff, right?
Briefly, streamfully, I've watched the entire thing.
Good, yeah. And we're going to talk about Loki and Stream Blast, of course. Check it out there. But overall, though, you know,
The entire thing felt brief.
we're not doing a, you know, batting average is 500 here. Or, you know, 500, I think. We're looking at 2 gold tier things. You got Guardians, good send-off, and you got Loki, season 2. But in terms of finally building to something, we're looking for that thing to connect and tether things theatrically. The only thing we could look forward to, hopefully, was that the Marvels had something to do with the overall tone of the future of the MCU. And, you know, here we are. So, let's talk about the Marvels.
She tore a hole in space. There's a different reality leading into ours.
What do we think going into this? Martin,
Yeah.
what did you think before seeing this movie? Lead up, everything about it. What did you think?
I really want to see Miss Marvel in movies. Like I said, I enjoyed her character a lot. I have nothing against Brie Larson or anything like that. So and what's the other one?
Monica Rambeau?
Monica Rambeau.
Black, you're about to
No,
say, and
not
Black
Monica.
lady.
Not Monica Rambeau. I'm talking about her actual name.
Oh, I don't know because I haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I didn't know much about like I didn't really care for her in Scarlet Witch. Like she was always back there. She got her powers.
Was she in the Scarlet Witch?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
WandaVision.
WandaVision, yeah.
I'm sorry. I was thinking. I was thinking you were talking about Doctor Strange too.
No. Like WandaVision, when she got her abilities, they didn't really focus on her too much, so that when he got to this movie, she was like the outlier. Like she didn't have anything to like show off her abilities until this movie.
Right. She was just the black lady that protected.
We know she got powers. Did she use them? Any of them at all?
No, she didn't. They just made her eyes glow.
Yes.
And
yeah, that's all I remember.
And then that was about it. The other two actually had.
When she first woke up, she realized she had snowy white hair and glowing green eyes.
Yeah,
she can walk through walls of the pit and fly.
Holy shit!
She was much more unique than the other guy.
It
was then that we knew that the black lady still hasn't gotten much from the MCU. Good job, guys.
Nice.
Yeah, it worked. But Mark, before I'll have myself go last. What did you think going into this movie about the Marvels?
Go last because I'm special.
What did you think? Shut up! What do you think about the Marvels before? You know, hype levels, thoughts about it, expectation.
I was like, oh, this, because like I saw Miss Marvel. It's not the worst Disney Plus show, but like it was alright. It's kind of a little bit mediocre. It was like corny at some points, but like there's some good parts about it. There's some things I like about it. Some things I found boring. It was eh. I give it a solid like 6 out of 10 on the whole Miss Marvel show. Mm-hmm. So like I was okay with the character itself, but like I really didn't care about Captain Marvel. She didn't really feel like a real character in her own movie or in Endgame. She was pretty much Superman, like, and that with no character. And the Monica Rambeau, she was there in WandaVision, but like, she was just there. I forgot all about her character until she came up in this trailer for this movie, and I was like, I guess that's a character.
When did WandaVision come out?
It was the first Disney Plus Marvel show.
Was that 2021 or 2020?
I think 20. It was the first Disney Plus Marvel show. So when did Disney Plus happen? Yeah. That was like 2021. That was like during pandemic.
Yeah, no, it was COVID. I was trying to remember if it was 2020. That's the thing is we haven't seen. So here's my thing, right? We haven't seen Monica Rambeau since WandaVision, which has now been 2 years distance-wise on screen. And that's whether the TV series or theatrical. For Monica Rambeau, for me, she always had a stain because she defended someone that held a whole town hostage. And it's like that line has gone out in infamy. Her character, giving her character to defend to defend her eventually the Scarlet Witch by saying, you don't know what she had to do to, because, like, I can't remember what the stupid-ass line is, but she basically defends the fact that she held an entire town hostage for potentially years. Yet it's like, alright, doesn't matter, you're still gonna say, you don't know what she had to fight for. It's like, that's not the question right now. It's not what she had, what Wanda had to fight for.
Oh,
it's the fact that, she held captive an entire group of people. That's insane. Like, you shouldn't be defending that. We also have Captain Marvel, who, like, I remember, like, your camera's on you. I'm sorry, man. Like I said,
I know you're just looking at me the whole time.
yeah, like I said with Captain Marvel, I was like, look, please define her character in the next movie. Please give me something a little better, because her progression wasn't well executed. It felt like it was a speed run through her situation. She was one of the first MCU characters where there wasn't really anything that was a massive threat. And also, her movie also gimped Nick Fury for the first time ever. I remember that because it's like, wow, Nick Fury is not the Nick Fury that we thought he was, actually. And he got his eye cut out for this reason. But her movie introduced Skrulls, which have been a chaotic thing in the MCU overall because they've not been executed well either. So overall, her movie, the legacy of that movie, the impact of it on the MCU has not been positive. And what I was hoping for was something better for her, especially because I think that if you gave her something to work on, something to be better at, some sort of struggle, I think that you could make a character that we could get behind. Kamala Khan, I don't give a fuck about. I didn't give a fuck about. I didn't care about about Miss Marvel. I didn't give a fuck to watch it. I didn't want to watch it. I was at the point where it was 2022. I wanted the MCU to get back on track. I did not give a singular fuck about Miss Marvel and in the status of the MCU. This was a small-time character, hero, small-time hero that apparently has references to the X-Men in the end.
I agree.
God damn, you're so ready to shit on this. You didn't let me finish my early thoughts.
I'm not ready to shit on this movie.
I know. I mean, to like shit on this because like you didn't let me finish my early thoughts.
Oh, I thought you were done. You quieted down. You said
no, because I was trying to let you go ahead because you were just going on a roll. Cause I only got to fucking Monica Rambeau.
So go ahead, Mark. I got my point across. Get back to your point.
But no, because Monica Rambeau, she has the same problem like a lot of like characters who come into Phase 4 do, where like they come in, they don't leave a significant impact, and they don't get referenced since. The Marvel Universe, the MCU will keep reminding you Captain Marvel exists though. Like she is a constant subject in the Miss Marvel show. She appears a couple times in What If. She has a variant in Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness. She appeared in fucking Avengers Endgame, the biggest one. So like you were never meant to forget about Captain Marvel. That was like meant to be the big star of this movie. It was meant to be. I think they're trying to showcase it as the MCU's new Iron Man, even though it's not really working out that well. But yeah, when I first saw the trailer, it was just like a generic superhero movie, like the most like cookie cutter definition of a Marvel movie. Where just like some humor, you got some action. It didn't look especially bad. It didn't look especially good, but it didn't look like anything new from the trailers.
Right.
And that's about it.
Oh, I wanted to make sure I didn't cut you off again because I messed that up before. So glad you got everything out there. Let's get into the movie overall here. So this released as of our recording last weekend. This obviously November 10th. It was directed by the first black woman to direct an MCU movie. It was written by her. It was written by Megan McDonnell. It was edited by Katrin Hedstrom, which you got a problem with this editing. And Evan Scheif. Runtime is just a hair over 90 minutes, and the budget is an astounding $270 million. By the way, by statistic, that means that this movie cost $3 million per minute. Do you know that? $3 million fucking dollars per minute. That is how expensive this movie is. $3 million per minute.
Did Nia ever?
Plus credits.
Did Nia
You know the credits rolling with nothing but black and white text?
Did Nia-
$3 million per minute of rolling text on the screen. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Oh, you're done? Okay. Did Nia direct anything in the MCU before?
No.
Or did she direct anything?
She directed other stuff. I didn't look at it.
Anything significant?
I didn't look at it. I believe probably something significant, but again, the MCU track record is now
She directed The Incredible.
the MCU 2. I bet.
Why do you have the editor listed?
Because the editing was terrible. So I'm gonna give you the person that deserves the shout out.
Me.
But
For
look,
watching
the
it.
MCU track record in here is like for writers. Remember, they had the guy from Ant-Man Quantumania, written by a guy that did Rick and Morty, and then in the commentary he said, "Yeah, I wanted to have this here because it was a funny joke. I thought it was a funny joke," and no one said to him, "Hey, we shouldn't have this here."
Oh, you listened to the commentary for that?
Someone dropped little pieces of the commentary.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, wow. And it's like, but it's the scene that makes no sense in the diner part where it's like he made a joke. Some people made a joke. It's not funny. It doesn't connect. Makes no sense. But the track record here is not, hey, you're getting a really acclaimed people. You're just dropping people in and hoping it works. Anyway, I'm talking about
It used to work in the past, just not anymore.
It worked in the past. Yeah, so in terms of our cast lineup here, of course, Carol Danvers returns as, Brie Larson returns as Carol
Carol Danvers returns as Brie Larson.
Yeah. Brie Larson returns as Carol Danvers. Oh my god, fucking Christ.
Brie Larson returns again.
Brie Larson returns as Carol Danvers. Iman Vellani returns as Kamala Khan. Teyonah Parris returns as Monica Rambeau. And Zoe...
Larson Carol returns as Dan.
Alright, shut up. Zali Ashton is Dar-Benn. And if you notice, I didn't put Nick Fury in here because he's not Nick Fury. He's a cardboard cutout that is not Nick Fury that's meant to say jokes all the time. So let's get into the movie. We've got to talk standouts. Let's talk some positives before we get into the negatives, before we have anything to say here. Martin, standouts. This is the part of the podcast we talk about some positive things. What do you think about the positives of this movie?
I do. There were some parts that I do like. Like when they had
Oh damn, that doesn't work. You're right.
I like when a lot of movies that have all female cast. They tend to go into a deep dive into the emotional aspect of that.
And they didn't hear?
They did, but it wasn't to the degree where they usually go to. There were a lot of times when I thought they would go about to get into an argument and go into that whole emotional thing where they
split off.
Yeah, but instead it was only like it was a quick fire thing where they just immediately got over it because you like think like these people are superheroes and they don't have time to be going deep down into this emotional thing, but it
absolutely
have. So it was the scene where stuff popped off and they went to the farm, the wheat field, and they were got to an argument. It lasted just the amount of time that I needed it to last.
Yes.
It didn't go on into the three of them getting into the emotional stretch, and then you see them being all separate around the ship until they decide to make up. It was quick, fast, done. I appreciate little things like that. Also, I do think that the dynamic between the three of them, especially at certain parts, was really, really fun.
Mm-hmm. It's a fun.
And it did make me smile a couple of times when they were, especially Kamala. Especially Kamala, because she was just that. She was the highlight of it for me, because she's just so much fun in the scene she was in. When she was talking, the things she said, it was just like, yeah, she's gonna make me enjoy this more than any other part of the movie.
Absolutely.
Like she was just stand out for me. It was great with her. But like I said, I don't really have any problems with it. Like beyond the little nitpicks. There's another nitpick, but I'll say that for later.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Mark, I'll do it to you. What did you dig? Stand out as positives about the Marvels?
The action in the movies was actually pretty fun. It's especially the opening bit, because like the gimmick is that like they do fucking break now. They were because of some MacGuffin shenanigans that is like we'll get to it in breakdowns, but like that, it's not well explained. They have all their powers fucking. Every time they use their powers, they switch.
Yes.
So it reminds me of like certain fighting games that have like tag team mechanics where you just like characters just like pop in and out of each other for like attacks, and it's like kind of seeing that in action where they hit a guy and they accidentally like switch to another character, and they have to like follow up on that, and then you just like you kind of like flip back and forth between locations, and it's just like. I mean, it sounds like a freaking mess to kind of like script that kind of action scene, but they made it work, and I thought that was really clever. That was like a really well done action sequence, and I really enjoyed that. I would have liked a bit more of that. They didn't really like that was like the high point of the action.
They got a hang of it way too fast.
Yeah, and I wish kind of like more of these location switching.
It was inconsistent.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would do it, sometimes they wouldn't.
Yeah, but like that action sequence is great. Oh yeah, that action is just fine. The movie had like some decent comedy bits. The breakout star is Miss Marvel. Like even though I thought the show wasn't that great, Miss Marvel's character was like she was still like a great character in her own show, and like she really stands out in this movie as like she's the heart of this movie. She's the only character like I've kind of like thoroughly enjoyed. Only main character I thoroughly enjoyed throughout this entire movie, because the other two characters I couldn't give a crap about, but more on that later. And yeah, I like it. I thought like lots of different chunks of this movie were very fun.
Mm-hmm. Cool beans. Yeah, I think you know what's funny is like when I didn't have like I said, like in terms of anticipation, not a lot of anticipation for this movie, so I jumped on watching reviews, and the thing that's interesting about this movie is it's getting negatively reviewed, and when you set up a bunch of negative reviews, it actually gets me hyped to like, oh, how bad is this movie gonna be? I'm excited to see it, and then I watch it. It's actually not bad, and I enjoy some things about it. Like, that's the thing. It's like, this is not a terrible movie at all. And it's got, and again, we're going to talk about the negatives. But, the opening sequence where it's like fangirling. And we get a 2D from Disney, but it's in Marvel. So we're like, whatever, I'll take it, fuck it. All right, I'm all for that. Like, I think that's probably one of the coolest things in all of Phase 5.
That was a great introduction
so far. Like, is the beginning of the Marvels. In fact, I think this movie overall is a great way to introduce any kids or audiences into getting into this new MCU force. I think it does a really fine job, not amazing, but a fine job in attempting to stabilize this chaotic ship by at least starting the ball to finally rolling this idea of a young Avengers squad. Because for years we were talking about, hey, when are we finally going to start seeing some tag teaming? Or where are we going to start seeing characters associating with other characters? And not just like Doctor Strange and America Chavez, but when are we going to get, like, obviously you're bringing up a young core. When are we going to bring the young core together? And we obviously get that in the end. I like the idea that we're finally rolling to that point. Like, whether or not the MCU's in a good place, I like that we're rolling to that point. I like some of the settings. I don't like what happens in some of the settings, but I like the diversity of settings, even though they are CGI, obviously CGI heavy. That's just the MCU nowadays. I think that they were solid looking settings. I think there were obviously some goofy situations, but
some goof ups.
Like interesting settings. Like there's some like areas that look like the bottom of like tree trunks or whatever, and it's like where mushrooms form, but they're not mushrooms. They're just like they're where the Kree are or whatever, scrolls or whatever. And that's interesting. I like that concept. I think that again, I love all of Miss Marvel's personality. I didn't need the show because I don't need to go back and watch it. I don't care enough.
You mean Captain Marvel's personality?
No, Miss Marvel. I mean,
No, Captain Marvel. We love all of Captain Marvel's personality.
here's the again. Like, that's so. I'm not going to talk about that yet because that's in my break.
Don't trigger me.
Like I just because she's not. This should be her sequel. It's not her sequel. She needs.
Don't
more.
talk about it yet, Brian.
Well, you started. Bitch.
I was joking.
Yeah.
I was trying to fucking
fuck
fuck. I was fucking with you. I was trying to fuck.
You know
you.
I'll get going. Fuck you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you started it.
I just wanted to make jokes.
All right.
Don't yell at me.
Shut up. All right. But I love Kamala Khan's character here because again, it just feels genuine. The same way that we like Miles Morales and Into and Across the Spider-Verse, the way that we like how Tom Holland acts when Tony Stark walked into his room. You know, I like the fact that like at least we have some value to heroes. Because what we got in Ant-Man Quantumania was just fucking disrespectful. His daughter treating him like fucking shit, saying, well, what have you done lately? Oh, you just saved the fucking world, screw you. You know, at least she treats Captain Marvel like, oh fuck, well you're important. I like you. I'm a huge fan. And also we got to see that those fangirl moments she had, she actually got, which was also awesome. So it was better. It was a character you could actually attach to even more. I like what they give for Monica, even though I think that it's quick. Obviously, this is a movie that should have been 2 hours. Now, I wouldn't want a 2 hour The Marvels movie, but I just mean like, you know, but what we get, it's like, it's so rushed. But I like at least what they attempt to do with her. But again, it's just one of those things. The key is like we already saw with Blue Beetle a good family dynamic with a hero. I think they did a really good job here with the family dynamic, and obviously that expands on the fact that Miss Marvel had a good family dynamic apparently as well. So that just extends forward, and great job there, great execution. All right, that's a family you can get.
I'm glad Martin figured out you can just like move his face so it is like facing that covered by the box.
I don't think he can't see the box, so that's just where he is right now.
Oh, okay.
He's doing a great job. He doesn't know yet. Stay exactly where you are. Don't move.
You're doing great, buddy.
Don't move that way.
Thumbs up.
Just don't move that way.
Like this?
Oh no.
I don't want to see your face. You're good. You want to cover
But I think some of the fight sequences. There was the first. You know what? That first sequence where they were switching had great musical choreography as well.
Yeah.
Like, great choreography. Great.
That's it. That whole action was really it's fun.
You know, we've had a lot of musicals, like a lot of action sequences of music that doesn't sync up. That felt like a truly.
Oh god! Like, can you just said music? We had a lot of musicals. Like, oh no.
But we've had a lot of great sequences. We've had a lot of, bad sequences where the music doesn't seem to match up well with the MCU and the choreography is bad. This was a combination point where not only does it feel like it was well thought out, well executed, but it was fun to watch. Yeah, it was great to watch. Actually, it was very enjoyable. It was probably one of the most enjoyable things we've seen out of Phase 5.
Yeah, probably one of the most enjoyable action sequences out of Phase 5.
And so, like, I like this tag team, and in the end, yeah, I think that
I put right under the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 sequence where they like fucking fight and no one sleeps in Brooklyn. That scene was just fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. Yeah, I think though, like again, like from Captain Marvel's standpoint, I like that they give her a little bit more like comedic energy at certain points. Like she just gets popped into certain points. It's like, okay, like, and it's like I like that idea of like, imagine just a superhero like dealing with that. Like, okay, like I love that beginning portion where it's like, what is happening here and things like that. I'm sorry, I want to give you as much positive because we know where this is going. I'm gonna have some negatives. So
only a few.
Like again,
only a tiny bit.
And I think overall, like I think more people are especially young audiences are probably gonna like this movie because I think that it's a great way to get people attached to these core characters. Whether or not it makes its money back, which it's probably not, it is a movie that probably will be an important piece to getting that young Avenger squad prepared, like built up, getting fan support around it. obviously they're looking for a different demographic. They want the female demographic. They want young women to look at this and get into it. This movie seems like a movie that would do that. You know, and it's not that long. That is whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's not a long movie. It's not. It's just over 90 minutes. You can watch this. You know, compared to like we were talking about the Holdovers and Killer of the Flower Moon, which 2.5 hours and 3.5 hours. This is a brief movie.
We need shorter movies. For the love of God, we need shorter movies.
I think depending on the circumstance, because this is a...
I think
it is depending on circumstance, because there's some movies that do work...
No. Here's the thing. No, it's not like an MCU thing. It's just like in general. It's just like...
Yeah.
Every movie nowadays has to be like fucking 2 hours long and long as shit. I just like when a movie is just like a tight... It's just like a tight, like, short runtime. But the caveat is... It needs to be written for that runtime. If you like feel like you can't write within that runtime, then just like fine, have an extended runtime and make sure it's good. But like if you can write it tight, just write it tight. Because like even though like we're gonna get to it, but even though there's like this movie feels like it's like it didn't have enough time to explain stuff and there was like probably some shit written out of it for time. At the same time, there could have been a lot of sequences that could have been taken out that's already in this movie.
This movie wastes a lot. All right, we're getting into it. Anything else you have to say for the positives, Martin?
No.
All right, we are finally here. Time to talk about the breakpoints.
None! This movie's perfect!
It's perfect. It's perfectly meh.
End! Okay, thanks for watching.
I'm going to throw it to Mark first. Mark, tell me your nitpicks. Tell me your breakpoints. Tell me what you think.
There's not a sequel yet! Perfect. That's Jesus. Where do I begin? We'll say the fucking musical sequel. We'll all talk about the musical sequence together.
We'll talk about the cat sequence together as well.
Okay, there we go. Okay, let's start with fucking Nick Fury. So this movie takes place after Secret Invasion.
After?
Oh fuck. Shit, sorry. Sorry. This movie came out... I said it wrong. This movie came out after Secret Invasion.
There you go.
So a lot of people assume this takes place after Secret Invasion.
Yep.
No. This takes place after the Miss Marvel show. After the Miss Marvel show comes out, this is where this movie takes place.
And where's that?
And then Secret Invasion happens, like, when it came out.
Which totally...
So right now, I think Secret Invasion is like the current Marvel thing, and not counting Loki because that takes place anywhere, everywhere in time, whatever fuck ever.
Anywhere all at once.
Yeah. But like I think Secret Invasion is still the most recent thing in the Marvel timeline.
Yes.
So, but it still makes no sense why Nick Fury acts and looks the way he does in the beginning of that goddamn show. And he's such a weird character in here, and he's just like nothing like his like. When's the last time we saw him? I guess
Tyrese from Fast and Furious, basically in this movie. He's here to tell jokes.
See, like, when's the last time he's like truly a part of something? Because like he had like an extended end bit in fucking Far From Home, and another extended end bit in Avengers: Infinity War.
Well, this would make more sense at the end of Far From Home. That's what also doesn't make sense, is he is where we thought he would be at the end of Far From Home, which is literally 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, this makes more sense as a movie. That was, like, his placement is literally where he should be from Far From Home, which is technically 4 years ago. God knows where No Way Home is on the timeline at this point. But apparently it's after Miss Marvel, which... Was he in Miss Marvel?
No.
Right, so why the fuck does that matter?
Like, the movie he appeared in before that was Captain Marvel, so it was like... that was after...
Well, that was the 90s.
Yeah, Far From... And that was the 90s. So, like, I think the most recent movie he was like truly a part of was Age of Ultron. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, because remember, he wasn't a part of Civil War either.
Yeah,
which was the first.
Samuel Jackson was mad about that.
Yeah, that was the first. Well,
rightfully so.
That was the first red flag. If we want to talk about what they've done with Nick Fury, and this was even though the Infinity Saga is what many would call perfect or almost perfect, one of the biggest cracks in the entire base of the Infinity Saga is that Nick Fury. Oh no, it made sense because Nick Fury was KIA. He was killed in action, and he was supposed to play that off because S.H.I.E.L.D. was after him. But then he comes back around as an agent, because next time we see him, he's in Infinity War as an agent that's rolling around with what's-her-name, who dies in
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion. So it's like, we don't know what to do with him, but
I think her name's Maria.
But that's the thing, is they already were playing kind of like, we don't know what to do with him, or we're not going to use him, and he's so out of the loop for so many years. It's like, Nick Fury was critical in the beginning. He was critical, and
it's a matter of they're just not writing him, because Samuel L. Jackson loves this shit, and I'm pretty sure they can get him available for like most of what they want him for.
Yeah. What do you think about Nick Fury? You had something to say about what Mark said earlier.
I feel as though like the Nick Fury in this movie was this is Nick Fury, no. So it basically he feels
we're talking about
he feels like Taika Waititi wrote his character. Like I feel like sometimes when sometimes when you get to a certain area and he makes a joke, and like this feels like the things I hated in Thor. And like we're gonna get into it later. You say we're gonna get to a certain part, the kittens and all that. And I feel as though the entire movie he was just like, what are you doing? Like this is you're a Nick Fury. But also the thing about Joe saying a minute ago with him, they're not using him or anything like that. In the comic books, not just him, he is a lot of times doing things in the background. Like I know that's not a good way to. No, but it's a movie. Right. These are movies, and he should have a presence in them. But I'm just saying, like in the comic books, he has a presence, but it's always in the background. They don't mention him, they don't say anything, and then all of a sudden, oh, I know everything, because that's how Nick Fury is. He knows everything that's going on. Like, yeah, and that's what they're playing on. That I'm not saying they're playing on it. Not saying there's a good way to do it, because it probably isn't a good way to do it, because people who aren't adept to comic books and all that thing probably will like, well, where's this guy? What is he doing? What's he doing? They're going to want to know what's going on. But like me, who had that mindset of comic books, looking at it and go, he's probably doing something in the background. Like he's setting everything up. He's doing those little pieces of things,
setting everything,
the little quests you don't think of, and putting it all together so that when it's time to actually do the thing, he got all the cards on the table. Like it actually showed that in earlier MCU. Like, him doing that. Yes. And I guess that's what you're saying is you don't want him to see him do that again. Even if it's just post-credit.
You also see that in a really good episode of What If too. The murder mystery episode.
Oh. That's another one I kind of.
Oh, he had a good role in that. You see like his like all of his background stuff, the stuff he's trying to do on while the Avengers are fucking constantly dying.
Yeah, and it's, again, like, we just want to, I think the thing about Nick Fury during the Infinity Saga was, if we didn't see him, at least what we got in terms of the production value and the quality and we knew what direction things were moving at least. When you have Phase 4 and you bring in Nick Fury, or you have, right after Infinity War, Far From Home, you have Far From Home, he comes in, he's not really Nick Fury. Okay, so that literally shoves in the audience's face a question. What is Nick Fury doing in space? Well, we don't learn about that until Secret fucking Invasion 4 years later. And then we learn, because the Marvels is delayed, that it actually, this chronologically doesn't even make sense. Timeline was like, is he here in this point in time? No. Does this make sense? No. And also it doesn't help that Secret Invasion, he doesn't even make sense as a character at many points. So it's like we are now at a point where he is basically the Joe Biden version of himself, and I don't know how else to call it that. Because
I don't know about politics. Can you kind of explain that fucking comparison?
So he's a forgettable. He is a shadow of himself. If he's involved, he is not the captain or the leader. Usually, it's a woman next to him that's doing it. Especially in this movie, someone else does it. Someone else always does it for him. He's not usually the one that can take control. He's usually the one to either sit on the side, or like we saw in this movie, make a joke. Yeah, it's like Charlie's but it's like imagine if instead of Charlie's Angels, it's like no, these are all just dominant women instead of it being like.
Now look at it. He is kind of like a lot like Charlie's Angels when it comes to this movie. It basically like his whole role in the background doing nothing, but even in Charlie's
Angels, but I don't see it as. It feels more like we don't know what to do with him. So we're gonna have you, because again, there's moments where like there's things happening in space, and this is a bigger part of the movie. I know you wanted to talk about Nick Fury more, but I do want to talk about the fact that this movie has no connection. This is another thing. It's almost like a solo movie. This feels like an entirely different franchise at times, because again, I talked about this with Doctor Strange, where it's like, okay, you can't have New York battles. Well, you can't have Captain Marvel saying we need help, like Captain Marvel or whoever saying we need help here and there. And like, to me, it feels like there was a perfect setup if you logically describe. This is just me. Maybe it's just me. But I thought, okay, Thor's out there and he's doing hero assistance. That's what he's doing. He's doing planetary assistance. This movie feels like the perfect movie to have. All right, fuck it. Guardians was in Thor, so you could just fuck it. Have him drop in for a second. He's got a daughter, or is not his daughter, adopted daughter basically. It's a girl. Fuck it. Have them drop in.
I miss MCU cameos. I mean, even though we get some at the end of this movie, I wish we got some during the adventure.
We did get one during this movie with not Valkyrie. Dang, what's her name?
Yeah, Valkyrie.
Yeah, Valkyrie.
That was a shit.
I guess
that hurt my soul because I was like, look at it. It's the Bifrost. Oh, it's gonna be great. Oh, it's gonna be. Oh,
I don't understand how she summoned that.
Oh, it's her.
She's an okay character.
That's not what I want. I don't fuck. Yeah.
Well,
if I want someone,
she wasn't an action.
If I want someone to help, I'm gonna be. Look, it's like they said we need a woman to do it. All right, I'm gonna be honest with you, because if we want a hero, we have a hero that tried to save kids in the last movie. That's Thor: Love and Thunder.
One of my favorite examples of a good cameo in a movie was Ant-Man. The
Baskin Robbins Ant-Man.
No, yes. But Falcon showing up in the first Ant-Man movie, that was a fun cameo.
That was a cool cameo, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Even better, could have gotten to a fight.
Yeah.
But I just think, also, again, as I've said a billion times, Stark Tech, hey, we need help. We're on the earthly atmosphere. We're on the atmosphere of Earth in a satellite. I don't know who has a satellite, but it surely played a part of Far From Home. And they could definitely help in this moment. And the guy's name is on the fucking building. But hey, no, this doesn't... Again, it's I know it's about self-contained, they can do it. But you can at least have a Stark drone. Say alright, Stark drones are coming in to rescue. Instead of it being this stupid thing of cats, which we'll talk about. But fuck man, compared to what we got, I'm sorry, that would have made way more sense. Or you know what would have been fun? If this movie was, again, coordinated together, if Rocket and the group popped in for one of the planetary assistants. It's not difficult to think about these things, but when these movies are written in a fucking bubble, it's they don't connect, they don't tether together, or you get a DLC add-in scene of Hawkeye's daughter. And that's it. And cool, that was awesome. But can you do that a little more? Can we be a little more, true to form?
Can you sell your products?
Yes.
Can you just, sell... Because that was my problem with the MCU, is okay, I get, they're trying to do a shift where, all these movies are, self-contained, are, their own self-contained things. Sure, that's something different, but the thing is, when they're not very good, they need something to save themselves, and, it's you kind of, just advertise the next thing. And, when they're not doing that, it's you get nothing out of it. Best example is Eternals. I didn't like the movie, and it doesn't, lead into, anything except for, more of the same, more Eternal shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I just...
Well, or shit you have to do your research for if you're not into Eternals.
Oh, they're gonna do this. I read this on page 48 of... It's okay, cool. Yeah, fuck it. There's obviously editing issues here too because they had to chunk down this movie significantly. I really wish that we learned more about why Monica was so. I know that we get a brief. So here's the thing, right? There are moments where I don't know if you guys noticed this. They're on the ship. It's the three of them, and they're in space. And Captain Marvel goes, Brie Larson, Carol Danvers, there we go, goes down to the bottom decks, and what's her name? She says that Monica Rambeau like says, "Do you need help?" And they start talking, and it's a really like big scene apparently. But even though it's very much like it's very much what's her name? Who's that fucking Inquisitor? Reva. It's very much Reva and fucking Obi-Wan vibes. Like, why didn't you help in the past? It's like, well, clearly she's a fucking superhero, galactical superhero that can't fucking be next to you giving you bedtime stories, bitch. Can you get that sentience through your head? You're 20 something, or maybe you're 30. You look like you're possibly 30s or 40s.
There's a lot of fucking lore dump.
But after that scene, it just cuts to they walk upstairs and Monica's already up there. Monica's up there, and they start talking, and as if that didn't just happen. It was like clearly these two scenes were not shot to be next to each other. But the energy.
Show them both walking up the steps.
No,
because I thought it just edited up.
I didn't see any editing up the steps. Did you see editing up the steps?
No, I'm just saying. It didn't show walking up the steps. It could have been just that. She said what she said, and she went upstairs.
No, because it's like it happened, and then immediately cut, but no time progression, nothing. It's like immediate, as in like, oh, Brie Larson went upstairs at some point.
I think Quantumania had that same problem.
Yeah, and so like again, I just like editing there. I just don't like the editing there. I think that there were moments where like you're in space, like they're in that. Again, we'll talk about the singing and all that shit. But on that planet,
I got more to talk about before you get to that.
Yeah, on the planet, you've got these ship battles happening, and all I could think of is like, because Monica takes the fucking ship and she starts flying or something, and Brie Larson has to help them now, and it's like because Brie Larson was knocking out all these little ships and she was doing fine, everything was fucking fine, and then they start fucking flying the ship in that battle, putting themselves more at risk. And it's like, now Brie has to go to the ship and fly the ship out and all that shit. And it's like, you could have just not moved at all. Let Brie handle this. She's Superman. She can fucking...
Well, the thing, her powers are, like, inconsistent because at sometimes she's fucking supersonic where she's invincible and she can just fly through ships. Other times it's like, she just has trouble in the fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somehow...
Yep.
Like she can get knocked back, and it's like you're not sure of how the power scaling works.
So that's the part with the ship. She did tell them to go back to the ship.
Yes, but that's the thing. If you're gonna write the ship,
what I'm saying is, if they should have been more consistent with it, like they should have like they wouldn't be able to fly the ship when she told them to go back to the ship. She told them to get away, and that basically mean going back to the ship. So I'm saying, at that point,
but like don't like.
I get what you're saying. I get it, but at the same time, there's also Brie. Not Brie. Carol. How are they going to fly the damn ship?
I mean, she just said like get out of there. Yeah, you're right. She said get out of there, but again, it's like
I get what you're saying. I get where you're coming from.
You're gonna have You're gonna have the situation happen. This happens, and then now because again, she's like doing it. It's like this is what you can do at your best, and now you are stuck flying a ship. I do, by the way, another pro is that Miss Marvel learns, obviously, like the thing that all heroes learn. You can't save everyone. And I do like that. Like, that was a genuine moment.
I like that too, but I wish it was just a snicket bit longer.
I thought that was already running too long. She started bitching. I wish, you mean after. You mean like when they get on the ship.
Yeah, when she got that part and she was, in that part it just glashed right through it, because that was that would be a, if that was between you and your hero, and you just saw your hero let a bunch of people die and be okay with not be okay with it, but just you gonna look at it like your whole vision of your hero is just probably destroyed because in your mind they save everybody.
Yeah.
And then you suddenly that. I wish there was just a tiny bit more of them, like her coming, like
the conflict of the fact that like this distance.
So that's not.
That's the thing. It's like even like you saw, like that's what makes the Winter Soldier so good. Captain America and the Winter Soldier from 2014 so good is the fact that like there's just clear differences in how they're approaching, how Nick Fury and how S.H.I.E.L.D. approaches protection. It's like, well, we're gonna do this to stop this, and he's like, no, we can do this to stop this. And that's what makes it good. It's like you have that difference, but instead it's all squished in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, and then
the Marvels.
Yeah, that's why I say I really wish it was maybe even 4 or 5 minutes
Of that back and forth,
just like that. But there, like I said, like the other one I said earlier, I do appreciate that the emotional thing between the superheroes is cut short because your superheroes need to keep moving on. You can do with the emotional thing.
I don't know, because again, Civil War is a big point where the whole thing is that Stark is fucking emotional over his parents' loss, and that drives him through the entire movie.
Not that. I'm talking about the scenes where they have to have the females have this emotional cry breakdown moment.
Yeah, and I thought that there was also a little bit of that. There was a lot of girl power moments here.
There were, but they didn't go deep into it. I didn't want them to. I didn't want them to go deep into the emotional scene where they just them being all emotional, crying and getting over it together. I'm glad that it's just 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but there were moments where it's like Brie Larson was it's like they directed her, hey, can you get close to sounding like you're about to cry and show vulnerability around your character.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm glad it didn't last as long.
Yes.
As other movies usually have that part last.
Yes.
But it all become I'm glad it's just done.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
By the way, it feels like the Marvels. I don't know if this is a situation that happens in the comics, the whole switching and control power thing. Yes, I know, Mark, you enjoyed that, but it felt like, to me, again, it's not.
I want to get to that.
But I just want to say, before, this is my last thing, and then I'll pass it to you. It feels like the entire idea of the power switching is we don't know how to write Captain Marvel's powers. So what if we took away her powers, but when she used her powers, it would cause another character to be involved. Thus, we can still have her, but then we can introduce other characters, thus helping our story. It feels like a way to work around the fact that you can't really write her character. Her powers well enough to me. And it turned out well. I like it, but it turned out that seems like one of the.
I'm okay with gimping an OP character's powers as long as it's written well.
Like the Hulk in Avengers Infinity War, where they kill him, where they end him rather quickly. I'm scared. I don't like him.
I thought that was an interesting story that they didn't follow up on well. But it was an interesting scenario. They just didn't follow. I was very interested in how that story concluded. They didn't really conclude it well. But with this one, it's they give her powers, but in a way it makes it's more confusing or it makes less sense. The whole there's a lot of explaining in this movie, a lot of exposition and a lot of lore, mental lore needed in this movie. I am caught up with all the MCU, I guess with the exception of whatever those ABC shows are, if they are canon, probably Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever. Because they're flirting around with those shows. Sometimes they're canon, sometimes they're not. But I'm all caught with the MCU shit, at least all the important shit to this movie. And I still had trouble remembering some of the shit that's needed to know. Fucking Monica Rambeau's powers.
Like I said, they didn't explain that much at all.
Yeah, they didn't explain that much at all.
I don't know. They explained it 3 times.
In the movie.
One of those.
We're talking about outside of the movie.
Yeah.
You're talking about outside of the movie.
Yeah, not it was a lore. He's saying it's a lore dump. They threw it all into this one movie so you get a.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the flashback scenes. There were 10 minutes worth of flashback information for audiences that didn't see Captain Marvel or WandaVision, and again, $3 million per minute. So just imagine that, $3 million per 10 minutes. So it's just flashback that you didn't even film, motherfucker. You just this is old footage.
I'm still confused on the state of the freaking the scrolls, because I'm watching this after Secret Invasion, and I find out later after I watch Secret Invasion, and this takes place before Secret Invasion. It seems like they ended off just fine in Captain Marvel. And it seems they have some agents on Earth far from home.
After this movie, when she said they had some friends, they ended up all going to Earth.
But then we never see these characters and the guy that's a Scottish accent ever in Secret Invasion, which would have actually helped
And
us.
New Asgard isn't brought up in Secret Invasion.
I'm going to be honest, it would have helped if they actually just used the same guy, so that then at least you understand, oh, this is after. Like, imagine if you had one of the Skrulls, specifically the guy with the Scottish accent, in Secret Invasion, so then you get the impression in your head, oh, this has to clearly be after they land on Earth. So now we kind of get it. But it doesn't make sense anyway, because now you're telling me there's some sort of community of other Skrulls in New Asgard, because there's no other... It doesn't make sense otherwise, because Nick Fury, that group that they claim in Secret Invasion comes down, is all the Nick Fury's group. From years ago. 20-some years ago. So it doesn't make sense.
There's a whole storyline that feels like it... Like, I feel like I missed a movie, or some kind of special, or some kind of, like...
Yeah, you missed Captain Marvel 2, the genuine sequel.
Yeah, like, because there was some kind of situation where she, like, just, like, fucked up some, like, planet shit. Like, their fucking core. And then she, like, fucked that entire planet, and then now they call her the Annihilator.
No, so that's from when she was on that team in the first movie in the beginning, if you remember. They were tasked to do a bunch of shit. There was that team that they had.
Shit, I barely remember that fucking
They
first
didn't
movie.
show the face in the first movie, so that's why you got confused.
Because she had that helmet or thing or whatever.
No,
That's
I mean,
you
the giant computer. The giant
I know.
computer face, they didn't show that in the first movie.
Oh,
So that's why you're confused, because you didn't know that she had destroyed it, because you thought she destroyed something else. Like they actually showed the canon face of it.
wait, what are you talking about?
In the first movie,
the AI in
the AI. The AI they didn't show the face in the first movie of the AI.
Wait, this is the same thing. So we actually saw it in the first movie.
In the first movie, she destroyed it.
We saw that in the first movie.
No, they didn't show the actual canon face in the first movie.
No, not the face, but we saw the action of the thing that's in this movie that gets destroyed.
I'm pretty sure I remember it was that big old building that she ran into.
Jesus Christ! That's why.
Here's the thing. This movie's asking you.
That's why you don't make sequels 5 years after the fucking last one.
Here's the thing. This movie's asking you to remember like a lot of.
Remember when she flew off into space after talking to the little when Monica was a child and she flew off into space and she got to do something.
That was when she did it?
I think that's when she did it.
What? No, I thought that she...
What?
I thought, that can't be, because she has the helmet on. That has to be in the beginning when she's a part of the agents, like when she's in the very beginning of Captain Marvel 1, when she's a part of that crew. That's...
That makes sense, because that was the Kree. That was the same team. Same people, wasn't it?
I don't fucking know, because this movie doesn't... I remember... So here's the thing, Mark, you know what's crazy? I know exactly what scene you're talking about, but because it's been so fucking long, I don't even remember what the fuck is the evil and the positive. God damn.
Here's the thing, this movie's asking you to remember a lot of details that weren't interesting plot points, because Avengers and Endgame does the same thing too, where it's like, remember, like, you need to, for this to make some sense, you need to remember a lot of details from the earlier movies. Those details were at least interesting and very memorable. A lot of stuff here, like freaking whatever happened to Monica Rambeau in WandaVision, whatever happened to Captain Marvel in that movie, was not interesting details, and I forgot about them. So it's like, the movie's just like, yeah, you know this already, right? We're just gonna reference it.
Yeah, but they reference it in a way that, like...
Or that wristband from, like, Miss Marvel.
By the way, that's another thing that was like, look, I don't have a problem with Kamala Khan, but potato. But, like, legitimately, if you know that the bad guy needs your fucking bracelet, now, conveniently, it kills the evil character. Congrats, that solves your problem rather quickly. But, like... You don't, like, holy shit, dude. Like, you gave the cookies to the fucking Cookie Monster. Like, what the, this is like the easiest trope in the world. Like, why?
That goes with the explanation thing, where we're like, the more of this movie's, like, explanation dump. It's like, it's a lot of it, also it's still very confusing, because the MacGuffin situations is not very well explained. Like, how did the fucking thing, like, kind of, like, affect whatever wall that was in space, and, it somehow made, like, everyone at a certain point to, like, switch powers?
Yes.
That's not well explained. I didn't get that.
Also, being a human with superpowers I mean, again, this movie makes you you have to be infinitely fucking stupid to not like think, okay, what the fuck is happening here? When Monica leaves the space station to go into the vastness of fucking space alone, I'm like, bitch, are you I don't care if you have the powers to fucking shit gold, dude. You are in an astronaut suit, and she flew pretty far away from that space station. She flew far the fuck away from the space station. I wonder what's going on with this portal that, like, by the way, we can do that now? We can just do that? I didn't know we could just do that now. So that happens now with Earth, so now we can just... I didn't know we could...
technology from the Guardians, I'm pretty sure.
But... Yeah, that's not explained. None of this is explained.
The MacGuffin... Here's the thing. The MacGuffin can do it now. That's
what MacGuffin?
The new MacGuffin, the bracelet. Combined with the hammer.
No. I'm not talking about the MacGuffin and the hammer. I'm
the
talking
teleporting thing. The whole
the cubes, the triangle hex thing, hexagons.
Yeah, back in Endgame.
Yes.
Remember back in Endgame when they were communicating with each other across the, like, after everything got snapped and they joined a little group.
Who?
Like in Endgame.
Yes, but who are I'm talking about? I need to know.
Ratchet.
Ratchet.
It was Ratchet. Not Ratchet.
Rocket.
Ratchet ass.
Yes.
It was Rocket. It was the one from Wakanda.
You're talking about, you're making up a fan fiction. This is not. They haven't shown this.
Yes, they did. In
no, because they're four.
Wait, no. Where in no. Let finish.
No, he's bringing up remember when they're meeting and it's like shit in the beginning. It's shit. Black Widow is sitting there in the office and they're talking. And I think it's a Rhodey as well, and they're talking about it's Captain Marvel, it's Rocket, it's the Wakanda lady, and someone else, and they're all there, and they're portalized, right? Like they're not portalized, but they're like
holographic.
I'm saying that I'm pretty sure at that point, somewhere around that time, they got the technology to travel between.
It was Endgame point. No one had the ability to do that yet because Earth was shit. There was no atmospheric thing because they couldn't rocket up the space.
Dude, so you're saying they were all just traveling back and forth to Earth from the grass distances every time? I think that's when around the time they got the telephone technology.
Again, you are assuming. I'm saying the movies do not show this.
Yeah, I understand.
But what I'm saying is what I'm saying is we went from in 2012, right? Avengers 2012. Like for the most part, outside of the helipad thing, everything was kind of like, all right, we're pretty much as if real Earth as we know it today. Then by Avengers Infinity War, it's like, all right, more technology, but there's no sign that we can do this. Like, post Infinity War, in any instance, we have not seen that we can just do fourth dimensional travel. That changes everything. That means that, like, all of Thor Love and Thunder's thing of, like, we can't reach them is bullshit. You cannot just drop in that, like, oh, we can do this. And also, like, again, to my core point, Monica Rambeau, a human with a few bit of powers and energy skills, goes out into space. Far out into space. Outside of the fucking satellite. Like, and no one in Marvel Studios thought, this looks a little fucking stupid. And it goes up to, by the way, the area where ships come in and out of. So a giant ship could just fucking slice her up right there, right? Like, but no. And then, like, no one thought, yeah, let's in the beginning, the inciting incident of them touching, could we have it make a little more sense? Could we have it make any logical sense? No. Like, it was just, like, again, you cannot introduce fourth dimensional travel to a completely different section of lunacy, motherfucker. You can't just throw that out there and just, like, yeah, we have it. Also, by the way, Sword, still, out of the blue, just exists. WandaVision, yeah, it appeared, and then it existed, but, like, was not there at all during the Endgame sequence. You're telling me between Endgame and now we have Sword, which has a fucking satellite. Saber, I mean, whatever the fuck. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's Saber, and there's also Sword. Sword hasn't been mentioned. Where the fuck is Sword? And that was a part of WandaVision. So what the fuck? God damn, everything is a mess. Fuck. It's like it's part. God.
I think
the more I think about this movie, the more it doesn't make sense.
I think you're going to a concept that was meant to be thrown away.
What do you mean what? I'm
Like
sorry, what,
the
I'm sorry.
whole.
Well, I got to tone down here.
The warping concept, I think, is like a moment that's just supposed to be thrown away because
You can't throw that away,
I get
'cause
it. I
again,
get it.
Thor: Love and Thunder, you can't just have-
my whole thought process is it's a secret organization, and they're getting technology. They have aliens working with them. They're gonna get
Nick Fury's there.
Yeah, and they're gonna get the technology.
Nick Fury's there.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, like, again, these other heroes should know about it.
Like
Nick
that's
Fury's
not
there.
technically true because in the comic books they don't all know that somebody else has that technology until they said they had the technology. The Fantastic
So then don't
the
fucking
Fantastic
show
Four.
it.
The Fantastic Four have so many things that they
Yes.
just don't share
Yes.
with the rest of the thing. But they suddenly show up and go, oh, we have means to do that. These are just things that these are plot points that just store away. Like they're smart enough to thought about creating it. Just like they're not gonna just go around just sharing it with everyone.
You're telling me the U.S. government. And again, I'm getting like a little like too. This is to me, this is a little too realistic. But I'm saying, okay, this movie. Again, we went from 2012, where in 2012, Avengers, it's like this is basically real life. You have government forces that are like, yeah, we're gonna fire a nuke and shit. We're gonna fucking go crazy because something's happening here. We don't know what's happening here, so we are going to take it into our own hands and fire a nuke, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that same government today just sees interdimensional fourth dimensional travel, and we're just chilling on Earth. We're just
Again, I'm saying they
Like-
probably don't know.
like the Flag Smashers don't even have a cause anymore because this. What do you mean they don't know? They do. They are the U.S. government. They have satellites.
I understand
Again,
that.
This doesn't make. But it
Should we
doesn't-
move off?
Yeah, let's move on because
We're going off in circles because I want to talk about.
I'm sorry. But just.
I'm just
all
saying.
all I'm saying
pretty
is
sure a lot of them
the-
that's a secret. This is a secret thing that they probably hadn't shared with everyone. I get that you're.
Yes, but
I get what you're saying.
But it happens in it happens in real life. It's not like make me believe that people don't see it. Have an invisibility cloak and just have them do.
There probably are cloaked, but
They're not cloaked, motherfucker. Because if they were,
okay.
we would see it. We would see like, hey, let's push it. This is writing.
Martin, do you
know
hear
that-
the words that you're saying? You said probably. You said
Yes,
assume.
that's what I'm saying.
We're not
You-
seeing this
that's
on
what I'm
screen.
saying.
It's the
But
same
you're-
shit we have. The same problem we have in Star Wars.
But you're
It's a
assuming-
lot of
I think
assumptions.
you're also assuming that they can't see it. That they can see it.
Yes.
But
No, I'm not assuming. If I have eyes, you can see the moon. You can see the moon from here, which means you could see someone literally open a fucking big ass portal to space and see a ship go boom, and like, what the fuck?
You're
just
assuming
happened?
that they're not cloaked.
I'm not assuming. They're not.
Let's
You know why we know they're not? Because they didn't write them to be cloaked. If a writer is smart, they're going to at least acknowledge, okay, we're going to write invisibility cloak. The same way that, it's a little stupid, they all land in Manhattan. They all just fall out of space, land in Manhattan. And no one's like, oh, what the fuck is this? Oh, this is fucking crazy. Hey, that's not going to cause any fucking strange problems. So there's just a fucking
glacier just came up. I mean, a fucking
sorry,
giant mech showed up in Antarctica. You think then nobody's still talking about it?
That's a good point. People aren't talking about that fucking thing. Which again,
Do you know what I'm talking about, Martin?
Yeah, I know you're not.
Yeah.
and fuck, the more you think about it, the more it's like fucking.
All right. Okay. Another problem I have.
Thank you, Mark. Please.
Another problem I have is what I'm trying to say. Jesus Christ, you guys went off.
Why did your boarding school in?
Shut the fuck up. Another problem I have with this movie is the gimmick itself of the power switching because it feels inconsistent. Because when they use their powers, they switch. Sometimes in the movie they're using their powers for a decent amount of time, and they're not switching. And it seems like they only switch when the plot demands it.
Oh yeah.
No, I definitely agree. Like, it is an absolute ridiculous situation.
Because switch every time.
Well, you can't write it to. Okay, you can't.
I feel like they could have made a rule where, after a certain, if they overdrive their powers or something like that, if they, I don't know, maybe they get too excited, they switch or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's they wrote it in a way where it's too simple, where it's if they simply use their powers, they switch, and it seems like it's happening that way in the beginning. But after a while, they just sort of they just make the rule convenient, where it's it only switches when the plot wants it to.
Yeah, that end sequence. Yep. All right. Keep kicking ass. All right. Boom. Nice. All right. Now we'll switch. All right. Now you. Boom. Yeah. Nice. All right. Now you. It's. again,
and then somehow they can just control it without using power. It's like sometimes they just switch.
well, I like that at least they attempt with a montage, which again, montage in the middle of the movie, good. You did something positive there. You gave us a drip of it. That's the thing. That's what I mean by, like, if you're gonna show it to us, I need you to show us that they're making progress on this and working on it. And they did. They did a really good job, at least giving the impression that they actually understood how to do it. And then obviously we saw them have faults with it during the Singing Planet battle. And so it's like, all right, they're evolving and getting better. I don't think it's terrible, but it is inconsistent. It does feel like it's a scale to getting better. Like they're getting better at it, but it's inconsistent as well.
I wouldn't mind it too much, but it adds more questions to the movie that like presents a lot of questions.
Yeah, no, I mean, clearly there's a lot of questions. I just
if it didn't have that many questions, I wouldn't mind it too much. I can just let it go.
About that. Do you want to talk about the cats now?
Huh?
Skipping the song.
No.
Oh, I just wanted to get that. I mean, we could talk about either one. Either one as a whole.
Pussy.
Well, what do you want to do?
What?
Pussy.
Want to talk about the cats, or you want to talk about?
Oh, okay. You're talking about
the pussy.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So obviously the cat sequence. Now, again, this movie cost $3 million per minute to work on, like to produce, and that doesn't count all the marketing that was put in. So that could make it up to $5 million per episode. I mean, per minute. If you consider how...
I mean, the crafts table was probably fucking huge. They were probably eating good during that movie set.
Oh, you could imagine. But this was probably... when that cat sequence happened, I thought to myself, my God, what the fuck? What the fuck am I watching? Because, like, is it funny? For a little bit. But is it all... But it's like,
good idea.
What are the... Okay, let's say you wrote a movie. So we have the entirety of the MCU. We have now, because in the past 5 years, we've introduced a lot of heroes. We've got 7 billion heroes. And you need help to evacuate a ship. That's in Earth's atmosphere. I already said it. You could use Stark Tech. But whatever you use, it's better than whatever the fuck this was. This was the dumbest shit I've ever seen. My God, I can't imagine who the fuck... it'll be funny. What if all the cats that are actually monsters ate them all? And then we put them in the... Excuse me. Then we put them in the ship. We put them all in the ship and then we let it fly. And they fly away and they get back to the fucking planet and everything's good. But then what if midway through as they're going down, because we made the thing spin, then the cats are ejecting the fucking humans. And so it's getting bogged down and shit's getting a little out of hand. What if that holy shit. Like,
okay, yeah, so it's weird. The the movie treats it as a joke. And like it's a joke that went on for too long because... and it's a joke they already made like a dozen times because, the jokes were cute the first times they used it because it was fun to see Miss Marvel's reaction when like the cat first like eats those bad guys.
Yeah,
that was
the trailer we've seen a billion times.
Yeah. And then like she accidentally brings it with her, and it was funny to see the family's reaction to it. And then like you just got the last scene where the cat is just like licking itself, and it looks like a fucking hentai. And it's...
Which is like, what the fuck? Why did it sit on that
That's
shit?
weird.
Why did it...
That's weird. But also that one's...
It's like a Waikiki comedy. Someone was trying to mimic that. That was all I was saying.
They sat on that one for too long, though. It could have been a quick cut.
I'm glad I wasn't...
So by the way, they already did the joke 3 times, so it was already stale. So at this point, it was like, I guess like kittens, like, people love kittens, so it's like, we're gonna work kittens into this movie somehow. And, like, you know, it's a long, extended, like, musical joke of, like, the kittens, like, eating all the people because...
No, Mark, you forgot the setup. The setup is, we're going to introduce something that is technically supposed to be serious, but it's never played as serious, and you kind of can already see a billion miles through.
It's so cartoony that's out of place, too, because when the cat eats them, it has an infinite hammer space inside of its body.
Yes, but, like, what I mean is, like, remember, the beginning is like, we're starting to get these objects in all of the corridors of the ship. And it's starting to cause problems for the ship, right? Like, Like, it's actually becoming a big problem, and it's like, what? So they establish this is a consistent running thing for like a good half of the movie, and then they erupt into kittens, and then they start eating people. And like you said, the infinite hammer space thing.
I thought it was gonna lead to something better because I thought it was like, oh, there's like a Skrull-like spy on this fucking ship, and they're planting bombs or something.
I thought it was gonna be kittens at war.
I'm gonna be honest. I saw kittens from the because it's like because they make they so obviously it's like a Disney movie. They hand fist this so clearly. It's like they give it to you. It's like she's looking pretty chunky. Like when she like right before she starts licking herself, she's looking pretty chunky lately. It's like, okay, yeah, pregnant cat. All right, don't know how I got pregnant, but I got pregnant, and you know. But that whole sequence, like, okay, there's a sequence, when you talked about Nick Fury before, I wanted to hold until we got to this scene. Nick Fury, when things are going left, is the guy that wants to take command and take things seriously and make sure everything is done with precision. He thinks 4 steps ahead. In the middle of this thing, where things are on fire behind him, the evacuation elevator has burned, by the way, has collapsed and burned behind him. He notices that there's what's her name, the main cat, and then there's a couple kittens. He's like, oh, what a cute kitty! Oh, you're adorable! Like, this is not Nick Fury, man. This isn't fucking Nick Fury. I don't know who the fuck this is, but this is atrocious writing. And it just doesn't make sense for the time. Like, it's
they don't reference
fucking
like I was waiting for them to reference that cat is the reason he lost his eye. They didn't reference that. It could have it could have used a callback because like
yeah, then he loses his other eye. Yeah, fucking Christ. Yeah.
No.
It's like, what the fuck? And then also, by the way, just writing for Saber, by the way. Saber, this apparently very important fucking ship, even though it just popped out of the fucking sky. Apparently it was here since Far From Home. But fuck, appeared. So they just let the family walk around in the main concourse. Not in a reserved area, of course, because you don't have the budget to fucking have a reserved family, or like to design a reserved family set. No, you have them in the same fucking hallway we see 47 times, which makes no fucking sense. If you're a secure satellite in the middle of space, you are holding everyone in a particular area. Like, I don't know what who are they? Are they serious? Like, they're making jokes as well. None of these guards look serious, by the way. All these guards are just fucking softies. At least with, like, what I appreciate is with S.H.I.E.L.D., you knew that if one of these fucking, if they went against the heroes, like in Captain America the Winter Soldier, you knew they were fucked. You knew that it would be at least a challenge. I don't know what the fuck to say here, man. I don't know, like, because the Saber isn't fucking tough. Sword is, like I said before, we haven't seen it since WandaVision, but Sword just steals tech and then just fucking lets it fly away and shit. I don't know, man. Like, this is a fucking nightmare, man. I don't, because again, these are, you know, the more I think about it, the more it's like, man, these are massive plot holes that you are establishing. These are settings that you are now establishing to be garbage.
these are MacGuffins that are like kind of break the Marvel universe and like just like not explained very well.
And again, how did they build it? So again, if everyone asks, Starkiller, how is Starkiller Base built in that period of time? How is the second Death Star built? How is the first Death Star built? They explain all that. These are massive things. How did they build a fucking satellite?
How they
build a fucking satellite?
Apparently Miss Marvel doesn't need the bracelet to use her powers. But like those bracelets the bracelet was off of her and she caught them.
What?
In the ending. Miss Marvel, that bracelet.
But so then
No, she's a mutant. That's what.
They explain that at the end.
God, okay. So
they explain at the end of the
No, they said that at the end of her series.
I don't give a okay. Right.
Yeah,
well,
I forgot
thank you. I appreciate it. I'm sorry. I'm
not in this movie.
But like
this Marvel.
that bracelet is still a powerful MacGuffin, and she still just has it.
Yeah, she's supposed to be like the chosen one for the quantum bands. That's why she didn't burn up
She had both of them now, or just one of them?
She had both of them at one point.
No. Like no, and by the end of the movie.
Yeah, she had both of them.
Oh,
She's currently holding on to both of them.
that's great.
But if I remember correctly, yeah.
So we have like the fucking 10 rings that
Which haven't been mentioned since Shang.
which are apparently super important. That even Captain Marvel was on the fucking Zoom Skype call or whatever, and like she didn't bring up anything about 10 rings.
Yeah, man.
She was at the end of fucking Shang-Chi and she didn't bring up anything.
What do we think about this villain, by the way? This trash.
There's a reason we haven't been talking about her. She's fucking forgettable.
Yeah, we got to a point. Remember when the MCU went through this great evolution over time, where we had simple villains. Phase 1, simple villains. All right, Phase 2, detailed villains with much better writing.
Attitude.
Not just attitude, but development time was built into them. Phase 3, you can't not talk about Thanos. So there's this steady progression of quality as we go up and up and up. Even someone like Mysterio, people don't like Far From Home. Good villain. And actually, well built into the MCU.
Wait, people don't like Far From Home?
Yeah. People don't like Far From Home, man.
What?
It's crazy. Like, people are like, yeah.
I guess certain subject. I think there's a if it's
This is the whole losing powers thing.
if it's a decent amount of people that don't like Far From Home, it's divided then because a lot of people love that movie too.
Yeah, I know. I love
like
the movie, but, you know.
I don't think it's majority.
I never heard of this.
Yeah, me neither. Or
I'm
you look at.
surprised you haven't, I don't know, online.
I know. I don't see that many people that
YouTube
hate on it.
reviews, I don't know what to tell
Yeah.
you. Like,
Most people like that movie.
at the time, I don't know what's happened now, but it's like people keep saying like, "Wow, No Way." People think No Way Home is infinitely better than Far From Home. It's like, no, like they think that Homecoming and No Way Home are way better than Far From Home, and
What?
it's like I think all three. I think it's the best trilogy. I think it's the best trilogy.
I think. I thought
Spider-Man 3. You're not about to.
The trilogy is about to finish, and like by next year, Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, I mean that hasn't come out yet. I can't.
So
Again, it could just be Miles like smelling Gwen's shit, and then that's the end of the movie. So we don't know what possibly happens there.
No, it will still be the better trilogy.
I don't know, but no.
I just proved me that like that meme of Miles sniffing the window after
Ridiculous. Yeah. But no. So we climbed up to this level of Killmonger, Phase 3, right? The level of quality to these villains. The Dormammu scene in Phase 3 was just was very witty. It's like you had these moments of like, wow, these are, and then obviously Guardians 2, great villain, right? We had very well executed villains, and it's like, wow, the MCU hasn't been better. Hasn't been better than this moment. Phase 4 and 5, you kill the father rather quickly, and you get CGI.
Okay, I'll say it's been mixed because Guardians 3 has an interesting villain.
Yes,
and
that's an outlier. Come on, that's an outlier.
And I think I think Wakanda Forever has an interesting direction of where it has an interesting. I think
you know my thoughts on that battle. That's bullshit.
I think Namor is an interesting villain. Where they ended up with him, it's like not so great.
No, I think it's too rushed to be a good villain, especially if you compare to Killmonger. Again, we're talking about a rising skill of writing villains, and if you can't write your villains with execution, and you have just lacking pieces to the puzzle, then that's the flaw, right? Like, so
I think Kang in both Loki and I would say in Quantumania is good.
Okay, yes, but again, like he's great until the way that you kill him, right?
Yes, but he's a good villain.
He's not as good. He's not even as the best Kang.
I mean,
he's not. But he's a good
He's
villain.
not the best Kang, but
fine. Fine. But all I'm saying is, Phase 4, Phase 5. I don't know what.
They're hit and miss.
I don't know what you've seen, but like they wasted the Godslayer in Thor.
Yes.
Yeah.
They made the Scarlet Witch a fucking joke. A fucking joke in fucking Doctor Strange. Well, I guess you liked Wakanda. I mean, execution-wise, I think just poor execution.
I don't particularly like Wakanda Forever. I think Namor was an interesting, maybe character.
Yeah.
I didn't hate him as a villain. He was definitely interesting. He was one of the more interesting parts of that movie. I'm not saying Wakanda Forever is good.
I definitely wouldn't. I don't think he's an interesting part of the movie at all. Because it's so soft baked. It's like soft baked cookies, soft batch cookies. It's like the claim was I'm the biggest and baddest of them all, and you have a soft reach of an audience. Like the conquistadors came and we had to run away, and it's like, but then you see the development of that undersea area, and it's so soft baked. Especially like we talked about Avatar: Way of the Water, and when you have Avatar having better development of an area. Again, it's the area.
Yeah, I mean that's his area. I mean, I'm talking about like as a villain. He's not generic. He's an interesting character.
He's very generic.
I'm interested. Like I was interested in like where he was going.
What? He's a very generic character. He's like, yeah, I will come up to you and fucking kill you. Yeah, okay, you're a villain. Yeah, you did that. Okay. He wasn't witty like Killmonger. He didn't have really good political perspectives like Killmonger. Again, the bar is here, and if you're saying like, yeah, I thought it was good, that's fine. My point being that, again, villains have fallen to the wayside in Phase 4 and 5. And here's another example, right? That's the core point, is whether or not you think it's it was fine. It's like, yeah, that's fine, but that's Phase 1. Like that's like what Namor is like a Phase 1 villain. Like he's fine, but does he do anything?
I mean, we have to look through the movie. Like I don't think it was a rise in villainy. I think there was like some really good ones and a really good one in Phase 3. Yeah, it's just. I think it's just a history of hit and miss. Flag
smashers, right? Fucking, and again, I don't even want to bring series into it, but flag smashers. The joke of a character from Moon Knight who was a villain and then he's a human, but he's.
I thought it was interesting.
The way that it is that he looks. Yes, he was interesting, but if you cannot finish the writing, if you can't stick the landing, you fucked it. Yeah, fucked it. That's what I'm saying.
Is basically the fact that they kill him.
No, I'm just saying, like, the writing toward the end was, like, you can't have, like, it was convenient. It was convenient that he became the villain. Because in no real instance in that legend of Egyptian gods should he have gotten the capability to do that, because they should be witty enough to know that. The same way that idiot from Secret Invasion is not a threatening villain at all. It's just that the convenience of idiotic writing causes him to have this presence that's not really there.
Well, like my problem is not what happens to the character, to the villain. Because like going back to this movie, my problem is not what happens to the villain in this movie, even though it is stupid. My problem is she is barely a character.
Yeah, this is the worst.
She's like barely nothing. Yeah. She's just rage and her power is just to her power is stupid. It's just like to it gains portals and just like sucks shit up and brings it to her world, and she just like shoots up like a big beam back at people. It's just like she's not an interesting villain at all. I mean, and like my problem with the thing about what the other movies is like, it's not about like how it ends for the villains. It's just about like if they're interesting or not. If they're like an interesting design, interesting like personality, interesting concept. Like my point is like
concept. This is a good concept, but
for this character for the Marvels, no.
Yeah, this is an interesting concept. Like her outfits are interesting. I think the hammer is interesting. I think that it's if you're talking about concept, the reason she's angry is interesting.
But she's basically just Ronan, man.
Yeah, I know, but that's interesting.
That's a repeat. That's not interesting.
Yeah, there's several villains that you're like, yeah, like they're interesting. Namor, we've seen that a billion times.
Where?
Not his outfit, but his situation of I want vengeance for this and this. Like, he's not an interesting character. The same way that this is like, he's not interesting beyond the look. If you're just looking at the character, wow, that's a cool looking character, that doesn't make it interesting.
No, that's not the cool looking. I think it's hard to describe his character.
Again, she's terrible. But I'm not trying to give her even brownie points. But you're saying that the MCU Phase 4 and 5 has had some good villains. It's like, no, this has been a fucking. The old Green Goblin is the one outlier. But outside of that,
doesn't count. We're not going to count Spider-Man.
Right.
We're not counting Spider-Man movies in this.
Okay, well, outside of that, it's like you have.
Okay, you can count far. You can count Far From Home and
Guardians 3. Well, that's
you got
not,
Far From Home and
phase,
Homecoming, but not fucking.
that's not
No Way
phase
Home.
4 though. But Guardians 3 has a good villain. I'm just saying, like certain, just not. But we've had it's fallen. What I'm saying is, I'm trying to get back to the point of quality has fallen from these villains. I'm not trying to.
I say quality has fallen from the with writing with these.
Fuck.
Shit. Alright.
I still think that Sean.
Wait, hold on.
It's that. I appreciate you for trying to use the speed of light. All right, let me see how this looks. 3, 2, 1, and we are live. How's it? All good. All good. 3. All right. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead.
I'm not trying to say like the quality has the quality in villains have fallen. I think it's always been hit or miss. I think the quality in writing in general has fallen.
Yeah, I thought. Like I said, I do like Shang-Chi. I do like his whole backstory up until the part with the end.
Yes.
Where they dropped the ball. Like right at the end when you find out it's just a dying. Whatever the thing was. right at the end of the story, it was like, but the process, everything before that was a pretty damn good villain.
Yeah, but that did destroy. This is the you want to know what the biggest problem of Iron Man 3 was, or not love? What the biggest problem of Iron Man 3 was the fact that they could not execute that villain. Is after all the marketing of this interesting villain, apparently, in the end, he was not interesting. And in fact, it became a CGI battle in the end. That's what kills the antagonizing force of Iron Man 3. Like, if you can make an interesting looking villain, that's fine. You can make a smoke show all you want. But if the fucking ending and you can't stick the landing, then it doesn't matter in the end. The same reason that Game of Thrones is not worth watching, because if you can't stick the landing, then it fucking sucks. Right? Like, that's all I'm saying, is, Phase 3, like, if you don't think that quality is, I think Phase 3, almost every villain is A tier. Like, indisputably A tier. Except for Captain Marvel, by the way. But...
Are all the movies in Phase 3 again? Shit.
I'm talking about Dormammu, like I brought it up before, Dormammu, Killmonger, fucking, god damn, man, I said it earlier, I'm not...
I wouldn't say Dormammu was that interesting, because he didn't do anything except stop, get out of here, fuck, fine, I'll do shit later.
But that's not, but you would give brownie points to interesting looking characters, so that's not even an interesting looking thing for you, that just, under your credibility, that, what you said before.
But you were just giving props to Dormammu for that. You said all Phase 3, you were just giving props, not me.
Yes. I mean, under your credibility, that's a good villain.
No, like I can't.
Because
I'm having a hard time explaining because you're only getting on me of this because the villain in Black Panther. That's the only example you're getting on me.
It's Black Panther. It's Guardians 2. I said a whole list, but I guess you forgot. Like I said a lot. No.
Of like why you're getting on me on that, because I just said the villain in Wakanda Forever was interesting. But I also brought Kang. I also brought up. You're saying there was a fault. It was all miss in fucking Phase 5.
I'm saying there's a fall off in Phase 4 and 5. Yes.
What we're trying to say is it has just been hit and miss. It hasn't been like a rise.
It's been more hit than miss, which means it's a fall off. I don't know what you guys think of a fall off. If you fail half your tests, but before years ago you used to pass all your tests, that's a fall off. That means that you're not averaging well. I don't know how math works for you, but that's a fall off. That's what I'm saying. The grading fell. Phase 4 and 5. I don't know why we're defending Phase 4 and 5. We've said they are ass for years. And yes, you might have Rocket's situation in Guardians 3. Trying to think of fucking other ones, but, Phase 4 and 5, and you don't even want to count one of the best movies in all of the MCU, No Way Home, because that villain does not count technically, so they don't even win that one. Like, what I'm saying is homegrown villains from Phase 3 worked and were executed and built into the Infinity Saga. They not only built into the soul stories, they built into the Infinity Saga and then were better for the fact that Thanos was coming in the end. What are these villains for? Genuinely. What is Phase... I know you're looking it up for, like, some villains in Phase, 3, I guess. But what are these villains for in Phase 4 and 5? What does Namor have to do with any of this at the end of the day? It doesn't matter. These are not... This isn't... They're not for character growth. They're not for development.
He is a mutant.
Who?
Namor.
Yeah.
That's it? That he's a mutant? That we're getting 4 mutants in all of the MCU, and then suddenly we get a portal into the other world, and there's X-Men there. Like, okay. Like, again, like... and again, the whole mutant introduction thing has been bullshit.
They're not... I think they're just trying to introduce smaller concepts into the bigger phase, what they're going to do in Phase 5 and beyond. But, because Phase 3, like you said, they built it towards the one ending with Thanos.
Yes, absolutely.
But maybe they changed it up just a bit so it's not built into that one fight. It's just built into a bunch of concepts coming into one together. And so that when they move forward, they can take those concepts and go where they want with them. I would say...
I don't know what... Mark's looking up something for ammo because I guess he doesn't have anything to... say.
Like, I can't remember some of these, because I'm trying to look at the list of movies. Because I don't think...
4.
Because, your biggest examples is,
Phase 4 is...
Wait,
Thanos,
Martin's trying to
Thanos and Black Panther.
Wait, Martin's trying to... Let me...
A lot of Phase 4, the various bosses. The various
boss battles, essentially.
evil villains.
Yeah.
Villains, that's the word I'm looking for. Villains are just filler in order to introduce concepts.
Yeah. Which is
like, I get you saying you don't like that.
It's just a shit idea. You're bringing in filler boss battles. Instead, Phase 3 was an introduction to characters that would grow the character.
This could in fact be later on down the line a much bigger end game, because from what I'm seeing, there are two specific concepts that are coming into play as of now. That's Kang. They need to better in him.
That they haven't really involved.
And then there's the incursions that also could be happening.
Yes.
So, since the Infinity Stones were just one concept, they can just move into it. They just needed each of these villains to introduce use the villains to introduce the Infinity Stones.
Sure, some of those didn't introduce Infinity Stones at all, though.
But most of them use the Infinity Stones in some way.
In some ways, yes.
Yeah. So they wanted you to rely solely on that concept, but this one's going into several different concepts, but beyond just this one moving towards Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes, I know that's one direction, and now I know we're at branching directions, but that's more on the poor execution again of Phase 4 and 5. Which each movie and TV series has villains, has antagonists, and they have been poorly executed. That is my point. If they were rightfully executed, like the God Butcher, like the Flag Smashers, like fucking Shang-Chi's father if he was better executed than the way he was just executed in the middle of a fucking battle at the end. If you had better execution in several things. The point is that the villain, just like the rest of the movies, which have fallen in quality. I mean, you could even talk about fucking Black Widow, but that doesn't fucking matter anymore. These things all matter. All of it matters. And if you're going to have villains that are less interesting, that breaks the interest of the entire MCU as a whole. It's one of many reasons why people have not fatigue necessarily, but just disinterest in the MCU lately. It takes a community. It takes the writing of all of it. Mark, you seem ready to say something.
Oh yeah, I agree with that point. I just said I think the best villains we had was just Killmonger and Thanos. It was just we got those two. Other than that, it's before then it was what else was there? Well, that was like
Again,
I
said a few 10 minutes ago.
Y'all can hash it out yourselves.
Okay, yeah.
I'll sit here and just
Gotcha.
watch.
All right.
Because I feel a storm coming.
Yes. Again, I think, look, right, like...
Because, like, granted, fine. Maybe it was a fall off because, Phase 3 didn't end with Killmonger and Thanos.
All right.
So there, okay.
Yeah, because I said the whole thing 20 minutes ago, and then you just completely ignored that, talked about the villains being like... Again, I don't understand why I have to defend the point that, yes, this is a failing grade on the MCU now. We have said this for 3 years, yet you're defending it. I don't know what the fuck has changed. You're like, yeah, the villains here have been great.
I'm just saying it's always been a problem, that's why.
No, they were in Phase 1. Remember, it was Iron Man versus a bigger Iron Man. You had fucking Hulk versus basically other Hulk, which obviously, comics, I know it's not, but whatever. Thor, no one fucking gives a fuck about Thor, the first one, and then you had fucking, what was the fourth one? Captain America. Red Skull was interesting, but not interesting enough to be as dynamic as, all of S.H.I.E.L.D. in Phase 2. Phase 2 evolved things, again, that's what I'm saying, is that Phase 2 evolved things. Phase 3, here's what I'm going to say, Captain America Civil War. The idea of an antagonistic force not only being between the heroes themselves, but then having the Winter Soldier, who was on the upswing of hopefully being on a good side eventually, falling into the situation where our core hero, Iron Man, is now against him completely because of what happened, is interesting and well written and builds the arc between Captain America and Iron Man. That was a critical growth. Doctor Strange, again, Dormammu, whatever you think, the situation was, that last 10 minutes was an interesting, it's how you close it. Is it an interesting character? Yes, because of how it was closed as well. Guardians Volume 2 was, again, the father. The fact that the father went through all of that, the fact that it involved Mantis, the way that we finally get Peter's backstory, all of that was well executed and built on the team, but built mostly on Peter Quill, and helps us understand why he finds himself so emotional in Infinity War. It helps us understand who he is as a character. Spider-Man Homecoming is an interesting idea. He is not one of the best villains, but I will say that it grows on the fact that you reference something from the past, you pull on that from the viewership perspective, you have a character that clearly does not like heroes, and you increase on that. Okay, Thor Ragnarok, that was a great villain. I don't know what else to tell you.
I don't remember anything about her.
You don't remember Hela, whatever the fuck her name is?
I remember that character design.
You remember the character, right? You remember the character design. You're telling me that Phase 3 was not, that's what I'm saying. And then you had, Black Panther, like we said before. We get then, obviously, I'm not talking about Infinity War.
What was the villain, Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I don't remember that one was, what's her name? Ghost. And that was just, again, that was a misstep. But, you're talking about that whole lineup of Phase 3. That was a very strong lineup. I don't know what else to tell you. You move into Phase 3 up to Infinity War, they were on a perfect batting average. They were making the point is, the best villains strengthen your heroes. The best villains, if you're looking for something like the MCU, build into the next step. And that has not happened in Phase 4 and 5. They're not, I'm sorry. And the last thing is they're written all the way through to the end with high quality. This has not happened in MCU Phase 4 and 5. A lot of TV shows, CGI battle at the end, right? And everyone said it to the point where it's been fucking tradition. Flag smashers, like I said before, don't even have really a point at all. It's not really a good point. They're terrorists and it just doesn't work. And having Falcon at the end defend them when they're terrorists doesn't help in the case of having people...
So you don't like where the villains just end?
No, I literally just said 3 points, and I think you took the last point, and then you just said, yeah.
No, that's what I'm trying to figure out, this is so you just don't like where the villains end?
I think it all is important if you are trying to strengthen your core character. The core character involved in the feature, the viewers, the audience, which is here for a continual series that is going into the next one that has to impact that.
I know. For me, it's not like.
For
it's a story problem. For me, it's not like the villain. If the villain is
no, you're changing the entire fucking. You're changing the fucking yard line now. You're changing it. It's like for me.
I was not. I'm telling you where my yard line was. You bring it to other places.
Let me talk about Miss Marvel.
Well,
I was telling you where my. This is like the same problem we were having downstairs. I'm trying to tell you where my yard line was. I'm not. Some of these points I'm not arguing. What I'm arguing is like this is just like a terrible villain all around in terms of concept.
That's
in this
what I
movie.
said.
The Marvels. We're talking about the Marvels.
Yes, and all I'm saying, and I don't know why, you're like Phase 3. All I'm saying is Phase 3. We all agreed. I don't know when this changed. Phase 3 was the high benchmark. Great films, great villains, great characters, great progression. Everything was on top. In fact, it was so good, Taika Waititi had not fucked up yet. That's how good it was. I don't know when we got to the point when Phase 4 and 5 were thought of as, well, the villains have not gotten worse. The villains have gotten infinitely worse. The villains don't even make fucking sense in a lot of these things. And the structure of the stories are ruined at times because the villains are so pathetic. It is critical that these villains are good. And I think that matters. I think that it matters, and I think that Phase 4 and 5 have worse villains, headlined by this bitch, who is not good at all. She is terrible, and again, this goes back to the writing, which is atrocious, like, for this character. Now.
And like it's for this movie all around. For this movie all around.
Yeah. Now, can we get to the singing? Martin. You have been sitting here waiting patiently. What did you think of that beautiful singing sequence?
It didn't last long. I didn't particularly hate it, but also it didn't last. And I think it's because it didn't last very long. It's why I didn't hate it, because it was one of those side quests that just seemed it's completely unnecessary. It tried to give Brie Carol Danvers some backstory that didn't seem like something she would do, because if she was super powered and all that, I don't think that whatever she had to do would necessarily needed her to do what you think she did. I'm glad it didn't last too long. It was there and then it moved on.
It moved on.
It moved on rather quickly. It got away from it, and even I'm glad that some of the characters, even in that sequence, were saying like, "This is dumb." They hit it on the mark.
They acknowledged how.
They acknowledged like, "This is stupid."
Yes.
Like, we could have done something else, and this is what we got. That's basically all I got, because it like I said, it was
so stupid. Yeah, they acknowledged it was so stupid that they then involved.
I would say
they involved the audience in this for 5 straight minutes.
I hated a scene after that more than I hated that scene.
Because like the battle sequence?
No, it was a scene. I hated all.
What sequence after?
It wasn't a sequence. It was just a little scene that happened.
You talking about the scene where they're like dancing around and?
No, it was after the music and all that.
I think it was a failed joke they didn't commit to, the singing part.
Well, what did you think?
Yeah, it was just it was a cringy joke that kind of they didn't commit to, so it just like was a waste of time. It could have been like should have been shorter than when it was, or they really could have committed to it, like actually write a good song. It didn't seem like they were writing a song. It was just like they were just singing to talk, and it was like wasn't really a good bit. It just wasn't a good bit. It was the set design was interesting, and the whole costume princess version of Miss Marvel was an interesting design, but like that's it was a cringy bit, and it was kind of a waste of time for a movie that needed more time to explain its own plot.
So during that 10 minutes of singing and dialogue,
10 minutes, it was like
I'm saying there was singing, and then there was in that middle castle part, and then like before the battle, all of that. Again, let's say 10 minutes, 10 times 3, that's $30 million. $30 million for for that little sequence there. I don't know if I'd like $30 million. I'd like $30 million. That was $30 million right there. I just don't I don't understand. Like, I don't understand the logic. Not that there was logic. Someone thought that it was a smart idea. One of these writers, the first female director for an MCU movie, and this other woman, then, okay. They thought, what if we just had them singing? What if we had a singing performance and we had them do all that? It's like
Disney Spirit.
Yeah, and it's like, what if we did this? Like we were in a fucking Disney princess movie. Like in a Disney princess movie. It's like, Wish comes out next week, dude. We don't need another singing shit. Like, and also, it doesn't make sense that a planet sings to talk. Because why did you make them all human?
Well,
Oh,
I'm pretty sure there were earlier movies that did similar.
Sure, but like all I'm saying is like they're singing to talk, but they're also dancing, which seems exhaustive. So like you get what I'm saying? Like
I get what you're saying.
Like, okay,
but what I'm saying is it's a different planet. We should just let it go.
No, we should tell the MCU like you want to know why?
We've seen Galactus stuff before where there's just humans there.
I know that we've seen stuff before with humans there. I'm saying, can we for another MCU movie, if we're gonna have singing creatures, if we're gonna spend I just $30 million for this planet sequence. That doesn't involve the battle, by the way. $30 million for the 10-minute sequence where they were talking in dialogue, when they're getting new suits, when they're singing and shit. All of that is what? $30 million. You're telling me they couldn't put a couple puppet fucking masks on and say, all right, we're going to have you be like a little trumpet noise. Like, you can't do that? You can't, all of them sing. All of them fucking sing.
You're pitching a better bit.
Yeah.
I think, like, again, it's a failed bit.
Just let it move on.
Yeah.
I agree. It's either you make, to me, like, you either make it better or you just completely slash it. And also, on the picture here,
because I can put a better bitch easily. Good, catchy song. That's it.
Well, yeah, make it catchy, 100%. But again, on the screen here, we have them when they first appear in this section, in this city. Quick question: why did you let the entire army get to the middle of your fucking area? I was like sitting there thinking, why the fuck? Like, this whole sequence feels so played out. It's so like, all right, you have them all walk in. It's like, why did they even get allowed to get on the ship? Like, why? You let them get off the ship? You let them walk all the way through all these corridors to get to the middle section.
I can't remember. Was it confirmed that they were invading?
Well, they knew something bad was coming because what's her name made a noise. Like, they all made noise. Something bad is coming, and that fucking the boy band Prince said some shit, and then it's like,
yeah, I know she warned them, but before the time they know they were coming, and they know they were coming to invade, or did they only know?
Well, they knew something bad was coming. That's what they literally say, something bad is coming. Like, it's literally say something bad is coming, and then they sing. That's the other fucking thing. Something bad is coming. It's like they say that shit, and then they show up and they let them walk into the fucking center plaza. It's like, snipe these bitches. Get them out of here. What are we doing? Also, again, Carol Danvers should be able to one-shot kill her. I am this villain. But, again.
They made it so that she absorbed her energy and sends it back at her so that she can't one.
With the hammer, right?
Or no, with the band.
Oh, the band. Fuck, I forgot. Yeah, the band. Fuck. The stupid. Yeah, okay. Alright.
So she couldn't one-shot her.
Yep.
But like I said, it's a scene that could just move on.
That's right.
And it did.
It did.
It would have been a lot longer if the other two broke into song and they didn't. Which was Mark saying he didn't commit to it because no one did any damn singing.
Yeah.
Really, it was just the Prince and Carl Danvers, and then they moved along.
They were just singing as they talking. They're not actually writing a song. They're just singing to talk.
Yep. Just for that singing sequence. Let's say it's not 10 minutes, it's 5 minutes.
But what I hated was
$15 million.
It was in that same scene. I didn't like the costumes they got on.
They look terrible.
Except Kamala's. I like Kamala because it
fits for Kamala. Yeah.
But the other two ones was just
ass.
Especially
Monica.
It was
Monica is a very attractive black woman, and you give her that shit.
Yes,
what the fuck kind of bullshit? Well, she's black, so let's put a black outfit on her with some white on it. Like, what the fuck was that?
I get they try to make it comic book accurate, but it didn't even make it comic book accurate.
It looked like she was wearing pajamas.
Yes, I was just like, this is. And then he had the right type to give him hero poses, and I was just like, this is cheesy.
But I think the idea for the costume changes because they don't know these characters.
I would prefer the costumes they had.
I can get how they got the idea for Captain Marvel because they have history.
They know
with
her.
But like, I mean,
Mark,
like,
your question is as good as mine.
The costumes are themed after like those characters and like what they are, and they just somehow these people that just met them somehow know that.
I think I don't know about Monica's, but I'm pretty sure Kamala had something on hand to describe how her costume was.
Yeah, she had something on.
No, I'm pretty sure.
No, she didn't. She had.
I'm saying I'm just.
No, she didn't. She didn't because remember she was wearing
Casual.
She was wearing casual at that point, and there's no scene of like, how long would it take for 30 seconds? Oh wait, let me get that. Like, whatever. If we're really pitching this, then you make a scene where you do a quick cut, or she's a quick little scene where you see her running. And then she grabbed the thing and ran back up the stairs again. Boom, done. 10 seconds over. I'm sorry, that 10 seconds would be $500,000. My bad. Sorry, that's a little too pricey.
God dang.
$500,000 for 10 seconds on this movie, guys.
You just won't let it go.
Hey, does this look like a $270 million movie? No. All right.
I mean, they're spending a lot of movies. They spend a lot of money on movies nowadays. I don't know. Maybe things are getting more pricey. Fucking
that's pricey.
$200 million on what was it? Elementals. And I think
we talked about that, and even industries have talked about that. They don't need to be spending that much money on those projects. We already talked about again holdovers, $20 million. Puss in Boots, $100 million. Ruby Gillman.
Indie Joe, $400 million.
What was it? Ruby Gillman was $60 million, I think. $60 million. Pretty cheap. Right. Not too pricey. But yeah, I don't know about introducing other scrolls. Again, it's just there's a lot of questions here. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about. Yeah. This was a movie that again, these nitpicks are things that I think if you're a young kid or a teenager and you haven't gotten into the MCU and the MCU believes that you have not watched the Infinity Saga. If you're someone that never watched the Infinity Saga, you're 12 years old. You are younger than all of the Infinity Saga.
All right, so
what I'm saying is like this is like you're not going to care about the past. And so this is a good way, this movie, if you don't care about you don't know what quality is in the MCU, you didn't see the peak. So here's some new heroes that you can get behind. We hope you like it. What are you about to say, Mark?
I guess two came from this phase. In terms of the main heroes. I mean,
Captain Marvel's technically new. She was there in Infinity War she was Infinity War at the end for the logo, right? And then she was at Endgame. She was just there for basically under 5 minutes.
She kept being referenced throughout phase throughout the Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah, she was referenced. Was she there?
Yeah.
In person.
What if? Twice.
What if is what if, dude. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even give a fuck about.
She's a constant subject in Miss Marvel.
Again.
I know. It's just more she has a overarching presence.
They're trying. I know they're trying. They're trying, but we haven't seen her on screen really since Infinity. When the fuck was the last time? Endgame. Fucking Endgame. Fuck. Christ, dude.
I mean,
holy shit. I'm not talking about animated. I'm talking about real
does it mean
fucking
significant?
life.
Does it need to be significant?
Outside of cameos. What cameo was she in?
Because she was
Shang-Chi, right?
She was in Miss Marvel.
She wasn't
in Shang-Chi.
She was in Shang-Chi for 30 seconds. They're trying. It's like you need to. This is my whole thing. Is you need to get them.
She had a variant in multiverse.
Yeah, but that's.
It's still kind of a difference. I know she wasn't there, but it's.
I know it wasn't Brie Larson, but it was technically Captain Marvel.
Yeah, let's get.
They're not gonna. What I'm saying is they're not. They're she's a constant figurehead in the Marvel universe, and they're not gonna let you forget about her.
No, but they're also not writing her well or having her appear often. Like if you're Brie Larson, it's like, why am I not getting more? Like, remember, Iron Man was fucking everywhere. Iron Man in his contract, he appeared. We looked at this. He appeared in 15 movies. When Superman, what's his name? Henry Cavill appeared in 3 in 10 years. Iron Man was everywhere. They made sure this motherfucker was there because they knew the value of a staple. Where the fuck is Brie Larson, really? Outside of, well, Brie Larson's off-world. Brie Larson sniffs pussy. Brie Larson eats my dick. Brie Larson was here 5 minutes ago. Like, where the fuck is Brie Larson?
I mean, that's just like post Phase 3 in general. Where is everybody?
Yeah, but if she's I'm saying, I know, but I'm not trying to overwork everyone. I'm saying in general, for her, where is she? if we're trying to give this impression. And that's why, again, at the end of the day, it's like, you need to have these characters interact with each other more. You need to have Carol Danvers ask for help from, or not Carol Danvers, she's not going to ask for help, but you need, like, hey, we heard that you need some help here, so we're going to help out evacuating these people, and it's the fucking Guardians, and now they see Captain Marvel again, and it's just like, hey, cool, okay. Like, or it's like, again, I've said this already, so I'm not going to say it again, but again, if you're going to, you need these better interlacing. In Monica Rambeau, at the end of the movie, you get the thing at the end credit, the mid credits. No end credits, by the way, right? No end credits, which is not a thing, never really happened in the MCU before, so outside of, someone will return in bigger movies. So that tells you that they don't really know they didn't know where this movie would be placed, so they didn't even want to make a comedic scene for some reason. Nothing between the three. They didn't have any comedy moment that they could have used at that end credit. But the mid credit is nice. I like it. It's respectable, and then it becomes X-Men. And
well, here's the thing. I didn't get the last bit of this movie where like she broke a hole in the multiverse, but like it seemed like she was like stealing things that were already, the main villain was stealing shit that was already in this universe, but like I guess like
it was so stupid.
Yeah, and like another whole time multiverse, like through her like fucking shenanigans, she broke a hole in the fabric of reality, and like now she just opened another multiverse portal.
It was a very convenient way to get Monica to another world to then reference this.
And like, which also is like another problem with the MCU is like I get this multiverse saga, but it's like we have so many like ways that like multiple ways of how the multiverse have connected to the Marvel universe, but none of them are related to each other, or they barely get referenced to each other. Because like Doctor Strange fucking threw a spell to make people forget, somehow opened the multiverse. There's a character that can punch through multiverse. We blasted a hole through that multiverse. There's a fucking TVA in Loki. And there's the quantum verse,
Quantum realm,
which is also another section of the multiverse.
Yeah.
It is getting so confusing.
Yep. Yeah, and it's just, again, it's back to execution. You're gonna do all these things. You're gonna have them. And again, I agree. That whole idea, like, I'm going to do the swipe or no swiping shit of, like, I'm going to take your son. I'm going to take some water from here. I'm going to take, like, God, these, like, and I understand it's like, we want to hurt Brie Larson. It's like, or, I'm sorry, Carol Danvers. I'm sorry, they don't know it's her. Captain Marvel. They want to hurt her. But it's so, like, it's like, this is really dumb and takes a lot of energy.
I think it would make sense if she was like stealing shit from the other universes to begin with. I mean, and it wouldn't matter to
I don't think she was stealing something from the end of the movie from another universe. I think just because she fucked up.
No, we're talking about the villain.
I think it would have made
she's taking all this shit.
Yeah, I think it would have made sense if she was stealing from other universes to begin with, and like the main character was like, "Fuck those poor universes," and the fact
take away from the fact that they pissed off at her because they're targeting those planets because she likes them.
Yeah, which is even
Right, why not both?
It's a soft reason to begin with.
Why not both?
But if you just
She's also grabbing things from other universes, I guess.
Yeah, but she's grabbing from the universe. Like, but why at that point? Like, why are you doing that?
Because she's evil. I get
Wait,
that.
no, those are just from different points in the same galaxy. These aren't because they're not taken from different multiverses.
She's not taken
because Bree knows these people, so they're not from different multiverses.
Yeah, I know.
These are from the same universe.
That's what we're saying.
Okay, I just want to make sure because it's not.
No, I'm saying they're taking from. She's taking from those planets because those are the people that
she knows and cares about. Yeah, or whatever. Yeah.
But if she just started,
you could destroy that fucking planet, that dance planet.
If she started, destroying stealing from other multiverses, all that's going to do is cause conflicts with other multiverses. That's not what she wants. She's going to find her own variant eventually. She's vendetta. She's in vendetta.
They don't have to write that. I mean, what I'm saying.
Vendetta.
No, the thing is, like, it's just like it's not established earlier that like what she's doing can access the multiverse.
It doesn't. Yeah, because
it's just like the multiverse open. Oh
no! Yeah, it wasn't more of an establishment because they wasn't establishing anything. It was just an accident that happened right at the end of the movie. When she blew up.
Again, it was. Yeah. Again, it's like, all right, what if we killed the villain, but we also need to reference. We need to introduce X-Men, but we also need to introduce X-Men. We need to give Monica something to do. So what if we did all three at once? We kill the villain, we give Monica something to do, and we get to the X-Men.
There you go.
like God, these writers.
Because like that makes about like the ending makes about as much sense as like when if like fucking who's a character that's on Earth? Fucking Falcon finds a cosmic car generator. And he's like driving his car, and then his car's going too fast, so he jumps out of it. It blows up. It opens the multiverse.
I mean, yeah.
It makes about as much sense as that.
By the way, where is White Vision still?
Along with like every other fucking Phase 4 and 5 character, we don't fucking know Bill
because the Quantum Band is based. Well, it will be the Negaband's ability, but anyway, the Quantum Bands. They are really, really powerful artifacts, and they can do a lot of shit, even allowing you to transfer through the other worlds and everything like that. Yeah. But they never explained it in the movie that they can do that. And I get what y'all saying, like, they never explained that they can do that.
Yeah, how are ships going through if it's only through bands?
So
how do you have the power to then
It's real. I can't explain the quantum bands myself, but I'm telling you.
Well, they don't know how they.
Yeah, they don't explain it in the movie. I can't explain it to you because, like I said, they're really, really powerful relics from the in the universe.
Yeah,
I feel like Star Wars. They're gonna assume their audience reads
this ending assumes that you have read the comic books to some extent. And know what the quantum bands are.
No, I don't think that. I think they know that people have not read. I think they know that they can conveniently do all of these things because we can. Again, the whole magic of the MCU is they reference a couple comic things a little bit and tie it into the story. But this story is such shit that when they reference these things, it's like, good, you referenced it, but who cares?
But I think it's just one of those. I mean, just like, oh no. There are consequences to your action. The consequences are a hole in the universe.
Yeah. Again, what do you think?
I really. Oh, hold on. Sorry.
Go for it.
I don't like her. I particularly like her death. I think it don't make sense. Like literally 2 seconds before she did the thing she did to Miss Marvel, they said, "Hey, she knows how to." Miss Marvel, the one that you took as a hostage, said maybe it's another way. Let's go ahead and ignite their sun so they can live again. And she goes, oh yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. And then for some odd reason, she decided to take her hostage all of a sudden and grab the band and do it herself. I'm like, look, this woman is trying to make amends with you. They literally just said she was going to do it. She's a freaking superhero.
Again, you can't. This is again how villains are written here in a lot of phases.
I wasn't defending her. I think she sucks.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
I know you're not. No, I know you're not.
I'm not defending her.
Me neither.
That ending scene got me. I was like, why did you do that? They literally just said they're gonna help you, and I was just like, that made no sense. So, and then she put it on, and then instantly explode because she can't handle the power. It's not meant. The quantum events are not meant for her.
Very convenient.
I'm just like, like.
Because without that, if she actually got it right, then it's like, well, now you have to write another movie.
Well, then you have to write. Well,
you can't just have that happen with another movie.
no, like if we don't find a way to kill her, then we can't hold to our mandate of killing all the villains, because they didn't kill her. They didn't kill her.
She killed herself.
She killed herself.
Yes.
So they had to find a way to kill her, because Marvel has to kill the villains, no matter who, except one, freaking Namor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just, you know. Yeah. Look, I mean, we have someone with the power of basically Omni-Man that.
Also,
That
didn't make
can't
sense.
kill.
It did not make sense that she couldn't get to Monica within the time that she closed that portal.
She's quick. I don't know what the fuck you're talking. I know. I don't know what the fuck.
That made
this
no
is.
sense, because
Very
in one
convenient.
part of the movie, she was on Earth.
Yeah.
And she flew all the way to the Kree planet, not the Skrull planet.
That's right.
To help fight help fight the villain.
That's right. Dar-Benn.
And,
Yeah.
and she got there from Earth to that. So I'm like, wait.
Yeah, because they're working together. Yeah, she
flew-
suddenly got to the other two rather quickly, didn't she? She got over there.
But she couldn't fly to Monica in time?
Mhm.
I was like, that
Yep.
makes no sense. She just flew across the galaxy. How could she not fly that distance?
Because
I was like,
we have to separate them like we separated all of our characters. Doctor Strange is somewhere. Monica's now with fucking even more CGI Beast. Which, my God, look. I know that people are happy he's here.
I actually,
but fuck, man.
I agree
I'm
with
like,
CGI, but I do like that they stuck to his 96.
I just think it's like, can we just make a new one? Just stop. Like, I get what they're trying to do. It's like, well, we could make a new one, or we could be desperate and call back. And it's like, all right, well, we'll be desperate.
I like that though. I
know. Yeah, you're gonna like it. Comic fans are gonna like it. Except it doesn't make sense then when you have other references to X-Men
because I think
and
what's
other
gonna happen
characters.
is she's gonna appear in 97 later on.
Oh my fuck. Okay.
When that eventually
That better or it doesn't make sense. Okay.
So she's gonna show up in there, because that's gonna explain how she got there, and then they're gonna cross the.
Again, these are. I love your writing idea, but I'm sorry to tell you, the MCU is not writing people that understand sort of lore building. So something tells me
It's where we already saw this version of her in Multiverse of Madness, kinda, in a way.
who.
Right?
Oh, what
You mean WandaVision?
Oh wait, I thought we were talking about the not the binary girl.
Yeah, that's binary. That's the mother.
Who the fuck? No, that's Captain Marvel. No, you're talking about Captain Marvel. We get the alternate Captain Marvel.
That's binary.
No, I know. You said Multiverse of Madness.
In a way.
Because, yeah, it's the same, like, you have the same actress doing the same performance course, sort of. Because they don't give her, she's not more happy than when she plays Captain Marvel. She's just the same energy. And again, like, I don't care.
It's also kind of
it's a
same concept. She gets Captain Marvel's powers.
No, she's not Carol Danvers.
No, I know she's not Carol. I don't know what, Mark, or you know she's not Captain Marvel, right? You know she's not Captain Marvel.
Yes, she's called binary.
Right.
But like her story in the comics is she's the one that ends up with Captain Marvel's powers anyway.
No, she was experimented on.
She was?
Yeah, she's.
But does she get
on.
Captain Marvel's powers?
She's more like the power of a it's like fire.
Everything
So she
everything
gets more
everything
power
I've
too?
seen
Like
because
stars.
I didn't know who the fuck this character was. So
I didn't either.
I looked it up
I'm gonna be-
and that's what I got. She was like she's and I think maybe in the modern issues they changed it to where she has Captain Marvel's powers. But like everything I've
They said she got Captain Marvel powers. That's not how she originally had it.
Well,
it's probably changed now because that's what she is.
Because she was a mutant.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like everything I looked up, like it's just been
And she
like
got experimented on, and it jump started her mutant gene, and she wasn't even supposed to be a part of the team because she didn't join.
her current origin is like she has Captain Marvel's she ended up with Captain Marvel's powers.
Okay,
because
so I don't know what's going on.
That sounds like that alternate world.
and that's why I compared it to her the version of Multiverse of Madness because like it's kind of the same concept.
Okay, so it's like I also didn't like. It's like they did the whole hero pose for her where she walks up, and they have it hold for a good like. I was like a 10-second hold. I'm like, what the fuck is this an achievement to you people? Is that like, but legit, like, you guys felt that too, right? It's like, why does this feel like you guys think this is an achievement? Like, Because they stood there. They have her stand up in this
No,
pose.
It's in the fucking post.
I could. What?
When she
No, she had some outfit on, but it wasn't a doctor's coat.
No, then she had some, when the girl.
No, it was like a sleeper thing. It wasn't a doctor's coat.
Okay, I thought she had something on.
Yeah, it was like I said, it's not a doctor's coat. It wasn't a doctor's coat. It was some sort of almost like a blanket type.
Why did she take that off?
To reveal for the audience that she's a hero, like that. It's just
Maybe she was cold.
God.
No, like I didn't mind they holding on that because like it's after credit scene where it's like this is where we hint stuff for comic book nerds. If you're a comic book nerd, you know who this is because they've been doing that for a while. Like especially like the most recent one where I didn't fucking know.
I'm calling myself a nerd.
Huh?
Nothing.
the most recent.
Yeah, Beach. But like the most recent example where I didn't fucking know what was the fucking Eternals cliffhanger where like you saw Star Fox for the first time. Not that Star Fox. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, folks. But like you saw Star Fox for the first time, and I was like, "Who the fuck is that?" YouTube, and I found out who that was, and it's like, okay, nobody would fucking know who that is, but that's for I guess that's from the nerds who do know who it is.
I just think it's convenient that we again say that it's an actress that's familiar, whatever. I don't know. That was.
I mean, they did a lot the earlier seasons. Even at the fucking end of the first Avengers, I didn't know
those
that.
were.
I didn't know that.
Those were actually important. Like if
they were, but like I didn't know who that fucking purple guy was that was smiling at the camera. That was
you were not about to equate. Not mom to what's her name, to Monica, as a fucking super star-like hero with their 2-star. I don't fucking know who this is. I'm not a comic person. I just
when I first saw when I first saw the Avengers for the first time, I didn't know who that purple dude was smiling at the camera.
I didn't either.
It's that's why I can excuse because you're focusing on like they were holding it like they deserve the hold. Like they can do that for like an end credit scene because it's like this is where
I see where it's coming from. Yeah.
This is where we reference shit for comic book nerds.
Yeah,
because they've been doing that since the beginning.
They've been doing that since they have been doing that since the beginning. They do so. Yeah,
I will say it's way better than the mid credit sequence. Way better than the mid credit sequence of fucking Wakanda Forever, where they just plop a fucking kid into the mix. Fuck that movie. Fuck that movie for the end of time. Fuck that movie.
I mean, to be fair,
that is bullshit.
Phase 4 and 5 have a history of really bad and mid credits and end credit sequences.
What are you talking about?
Phase 4 and 5.
Oh, Phase 4 and 5.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
My bad. Sorry. Unless you're going.
You're misunderstanding.
Unless you're trying to dig back again at the Phase 3 shit we were talking about earlier. All right.
We are misunderstanding each other a lot. This fucking.
We are. All right. So let's actually get to this point here. So
cut out that middle conversation was it was like the Incredibles thing. We just probably cuts parts of that probably moments later.
Yeah. So, all right, where does this leave the MCU? Well, this is the lineup for the next couple of years here. So, here's the rest of Phase 5.
Fucking Agatha?
Yeah, that's still real. So, Echo comes out at the beginning of next year. Deadpool is the lone movie for 2024 now. That is the only movie. We are finally getting only one for all of thanks to the writer's strike. We're only getting one movie in all of 2024. Agatha is toward the end of the year. Captain America in 2025. And then Ironheart at a to-be-determined time. But that has already been in post-production. So that is so far ahead that even though there were rumors of it being canceled, that is not true.
Ironheart's going to get shadow dropped. It's going to come out next week.
Oh my god, could you imagine? It just, yeah. So, this gets me to the question here. Let's say you were in control of the MCU for the rest of Phase 5 here. You could change one thing. You could change a single movie. You could change, movie, characters, whatever. Action, however. What would you change?
Put in a fucking big name in that's we haven't gotten already. Because ever since they finally combined, Disney finally combined with Fox, everyone was just okay, now you can put in X-Men, now you can put in Fantastic Four, and then Kevin Feige was no, so we just took his word for it because they were doing good with Marvel at the time, and now it's just they're doing shit at this point, just like give the people what they want if you want like to fucking sell more shit for Marvel, because there's it's like a, in terms of like in audio like majority interests, it's a down spiral.
Yeah.
Like Deadpool 3 is like I don't know how much of that's gonna have to do with the MCU, but like that can bring things up. Everything else, I don't give like two shits about. If it's good, it's good. I mean, I'll watch it anyway because I'm already invested in the MCU, and I'm just gonna keep catching up with it until I'm like too old to like fucking keep up with TV. But like, I mean, in terms of a general audience interest, I think it's just gonna keep going downhill. No one knows who the hell Echo is, and it's like you have to have seen Hawkeye to know that character because she hasn't appeared in any movies.
I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but that was...
I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I keep hearing good things about it, and like I can believe it. So like, if it is a good trailer and if it does look promising, that's cool. I don't think it will still get general audience interest because of the name itself. Because also, again, not many people are interest in Marvel, and it's been going to a down spiral. So it's like, you know, the people who lost interest, will make them think you're going to come back to like Echo, besides like the good trailer.
Martin, if you were in control of the MCU through the rest of Phase 5 and you could change one thing, what would you change slide over for me a little bit?
I would. The two things I would change. The one thing that changes is I would slow down a whole lot.
Oh, this is now spaced out pretty far.
I know.
This is slowed down.
This is the slowest, dude.
Yeah. I know they slowed down. I'm just saying. I'm glad they did the thing I was gonna say. Like slow down, because I don't have fatigue because I enjoy comic books and superheroes.
Yeah.
So, but I know that general audiences aren't going to be as
excited
as I am to go back and forth to these movies. But give it some time, let it cook, and then release a trailer or two, and like, oh yeah, MCU, that looks exciting. I can get back into that. This will build interest again. Like there's like they're doing it, but still, these are series. Two of these are series.
Three are series. Echo, Agatha, and Ironheart are all series.
The 3 series. So yes. That's still...
One is in early 2024, the other is in late 2024, and then Ironheart is to be determined. TBD. Likely 2025. Okay. And there's only 2 movies, one in 2024, one in 2025. But remember, Phase 6 starts in 2025 as well, so there's going to be more movies in 2025 on top of Captain America.
So yeah, this is slow down. It's like only a slow down for a set period of time.
For 18 months, basically.
Yeah, they need to take it. I
think this is the last pause we're going to get. They tried to push through COVID, and it was a mistake. And here we are now. But outside of pause, what was your other?
Stop putting, in Phase 4 and 5, like and further beyond, stop sending people to the movies just for the post-credit scenes. Like, there are a lot of these movies that have been coming out, that's been hit and miss, and you basically for the post-credit scene. Even in the series, some of them had it just for what's the little snippet you're gonna have coming in the future. Because a lot of the plot of the movie or the show had nothing to do, and then you get to the post-credit scene, and it's all the plot in that 45-second to a minute long scene. That's all the plot. Like like the show Moon Knight.
Right.
It's self-contained, but then they had that post-credit scene that showed the dude with the sword, and then it showed like there could have been Blade coming up.
Yeah.
But that's further than the plot of all the movies. This movie further the plot. The Marvel showing the
machine. Machine.
I say these series have been doing that. In terms of the movies, like they've just been self-contained.
Yeah, I'm saying the movies are self-contained, but at the post-credit scene.
No. I mean, I'm talking about the post-credit scenes themselves.
You think
the post-credit scene has been hinting towards the next movie for that character, like Thor.
For that character. That's what he's saying. Is like they're self-contained end credit scenes. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Like for the movies, these are self-contained. Like Doctor Strange, that ends and it has nothing to do at all with anything else.
No, so like, are you saying are they like are they advertising the next thing?
Yeah,
so like the next movie.
Because advertised with the most plot we get for what's coming next, and like a concept like
It's only. Oh, you're saying it's only in the
post.
end.
Only.
It has nothing to do with during the entire run. You think?
Okay. So I'd argue that like it's not advertising like the next plot within like the next Marvel movie or like the next like phase or like the overarching phase story plot. It's just like it's like hinting at like the next thing within this that's already established in this like character's world, and it's not like advertising anything that's what's next for the MCU. That's been my problem. Like they're funny enough, this movie the most everywhere plot, the Marvels has the most connective tissue to like the general Marvel universe of Phase 5, Phase 4 and 5.
I'd say it even undercooks it.
Yeah, it undercooks it more by being the first one to kind of do that. Everything else in terms of the post-credit scenes have just been like advertising the next adventure for that character, but not for the rest of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, but
I kind of disagree because a lot of them has been hitting that, like I said, like I said in the movie, in the show, what was that? Was
Moon Knight. You said
Moon Knight. That post credit scene wasn't hitting at Moon Knight.
Well, the mid credit scene was though.
Because
they were preparing you for more of Moon Knight.
Yeah,
which we still have yet to see.
But then
it's not in the timeline at all. By the way,
you might not get it.
But we had the scene where they introduced him with the blade, the sword.
Yes.
And I was just like, okay, if this is not a part of the Moon Knight series.
Right.
This is something that you're hinting at, but like, and it seems like they are any like further plot like that. This
is unrelated.
Yes, it's like we get to this and find out that this is something that's coming up new, something coming up later.
I can say it's been happening for some of the series mostly, but not for the movies. Okay.
But you get what I'm saying. I wish that it was. I wish that they had more than just that. Like it feels. Sometimes I feel like I'm just going to the movie and for that post credit scene.
Well, I think, but I don't think that's a problem necessarily. Well, you mean, but you want quality in the film itself. Is that what you're saying? You don't just want the post credit scene to be exciting. You want the entire film to be exciting.
Yes.
You want quality throughout the experience.
Yeah, I want everything to.
Yeah, you want the entire thing to be connective, but also not connective, but like quality filled, and then at the end you still get the satisfying scene. I got you. Okay, I would say on my end, I would absolutely slash Captain America. I'd either slash it or push it to Phase 6 and put a Shang-Chi sequel in. It's time. We need to reference characters that apparently are supposed to build into this next stage. It's great that we have the Marvels and her things are important, and she got her own series and shit like that, and then we move into this movie and her whatever things, I don't know what they're called, the bracelets or whatever, are important. That's cool. But it's like Captain America is not going to sell anyone. We saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's not good. And like I don't care what threat he has. He's not the leader of unless he actually uses that serum. He's not the hero of anyone. In fact, he is a squid, and it doesn't matter. You know, like he was a cool character back 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago with the Winter Soldier. And he was an interesting character in Civil War, fighting against Spider-Man and everyone else, and that was cool. And it was cool to hear him say "on your left" and fucking Endgame again. But like he has been undercooked, and this is probably the least exciting. Captain America used to be box office after Winter Soldier, and then Civil War built it even higher. For a fourth movie in a franchise, this is going to be now 8 years after the last Captain America, by the way. 8 fucking years after the last movie. And I know that's because there's a whole reset going on with this character, but that's a long time for a fourth fucking movie, I'll tell you what. So, I think I'd push that movie completely out. I'd give Shang-Chi a sequel so we get more to value this character, have him get involved more with Doctor Strange. Maybe somehow involve what the fuck happened with Doctor Strange and him so we know what's going on before, like 5 years from now when we get to Avengers, or now 3 years from now, whatever. 3 years from now when we get to Avengers, we're not just surprised, like, oh, now that's what you're doing. We need a movie where we see Wong and fucking Doctor Strange and fucking Shang-Chi, and that apparently was important. That core section of the MCU was important. And it's clearly not going to be referenced at all for the next 2 to 3 years until Avengers shows up. So if that's not the Young Avengers movie at all, like we don't know what's going to be in that Avengers movie. We hope that we get Doctor Strange, but it's not the same team that did Avengers Infinity War, so we don't know how that balance is going to work. But absolutely get rid of Captain America in Phase 5. Give Shang-Chi some more time and reference Doctor Strange in that. I thought that they were doing a really good job with Spider-Man and then having Doctor Strange in his own movie. Now, execution-wise, good or bad, doesn't matter. The point is, you were building to the idea that Doctor Strange was going to be an important character throughout. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's important. It's like, okay, he's in Spider-Man. He is now in his own movie. He's in Shang-Chi. Okay. Or Wong was. Okay, so we're leading somewhere. No, we're not leading anywhere. I need something right here, right now. 2025.
I guess, quick aside, Spider-Man might slip into there whenever Sony wants it.
Yeah, that's...
Hey, what?
Yeah, that's...
Spider-Man will slip into there whenever Sony wants it, because No Way Home was the same way.
Was it?
I mean, it was going to be guaranteed we're going to get another Spider-Man, but like the title was changing. The title kept changing, and like it wasn't consistent its place of like when it was going to release.
Right.
So it was just slipping in whenever. So I'm not sure if Sony has a say in that or Marvel Studios does. I think it's mostly Sony.
Okay.
Whatever that's my theory. If like whenever they request to be made by Marvel Studios or some shit. Or maybe there's some contracts going on. Maybe it's...
Well, we already know that it, like you said, it's already written. That's ready. It's just, when are we going to get the green light? When are these two going to come to an agreement? And like you said, then it could drop in. But it's definitely feeling like that's probably going to be a Phase 6 thing. Just because production is going to take some time. And we're now 18 months out until Phase 5 is over. Right? So, I mean, yeah. I would love, by the way, I would love if Spider-Man replaced the Ironheart and we just got rid of Ironheart, who was the most unnecessary, doesn't need a fucking series. I don't give a fuck.
So just back to me again real quick. Like, my problem was, besides like the writing of these movies, it's like there is like, my problem with Phase 4 and 5 is like there was like very little connective tissue, and like I do like. I'm all for the idea, like, originally, where it's like, these stories can be self-contained, but like I would like the post-credit scene to like advertise the next thing and come together, but like, they didn't feel like for these movies there wasn't much connective tissue at all, and they were just like, this is still, and they were still assuring you, there is a timeline to this Marvel universe, and they do connect in some way, and they will come together at some point. But we didn't see where. Like, we were still not see like. Huh?
Sorry, he was talking about something. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, they still assure you that there is a Marvel timeline. They still assure you like things will come together at a certain point, but like we're not seeing where that is, and like like. No, I guess pun intended or reference intended, but like we don't know when the end game, like how the end game is going to come together. Well, where the end game is.
They've got now 24 months.
The subject of the end game besides multiverse.
I believe 24 or 36 months from now is when this happens, and that's not a lot of time. 36 months is 3 years from now. I think Avengers is supposed to be a fall or a late movie, if not a summer movie, so that might even be chopped less time. That might be more like 30 months. That's not a lot of time. I hope they've written this out. I hope they conceptualize that out. It just is not. Again, these movies, what do they have in connection? By the way, you know the real outlier? It's not Ironheart. It's the fact that Agatha is going to have a series 3 years after this. Like, you did not jump on this at all, guys. What the fuck are we doing?
What is that about?
You know the lady from WandaVision? I don't know what it's about, but it's a prequel because she dies, and so it's supposed to be something about how she's important.
This is like around the time they were trying to like make they felt like they can make like a series out of everything.
Everything, yeah.
Because Vision Quest was supposed to be a series, but that got scrapped.
Yeah.
Oh, they should have scrapped that too and put Ironheart there because Ironheart could be a way to introduce Iron Lad, which is a variant of Kang.
Yeah, I just don't want anything with Iron anything.
I was fine with the idea of Armored Wars because like I like
Armored Wars.
I like
Phase 5.
I like the idea of like having I like the idea of like having a whole movie focus on like or show like it used to be focus on Rhodey until they introduced that confusing plot line where he was imprisoned as a Skrull for
God knows how long, guys. That's the whole thing.
They haven't given you a real answer because they don't know yet.
Because none of the writers.
Yeah.
None of the writers know. Yeah.
So it could have been for like 2 nanoseconds, or it could have been for like
2 entire phases.
Since the fucking first movie.
Yeah.
It could have been since before the first Iron Man movie.
When what's his name, Terrence Howard would switched out with him. That could have been when. By the way, that could have been when. Like, you know, who knows? But all right. Let's before we wrap up fully. I know we got through this. I just think the MCU overall just. Oh, what a mess. What a mess. All right.
It's a good zero from Marvel.
Time to do this. We did it last time. We did it for Blue Beetle. Time to stack them. Mark, your 2023 hero movie ranking. We're now up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies. Mother of God, we can't stop the fire. We still have one more. We got Aquaman coming around Christmas. The party does not fucking stop for these superheroes. All right, so you were so Martin's top. So Martin's 8 was Shazam, The Flash, Ant-Man, The Marvels, Blue Beetle, TMNT, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and then number 1, of course, Across the Spider-Verse. Mark, have you had enough time to consider your least to best?
I think I agree with Martin mostly.
So your list is Shazam at number 8, The Flash at number 7, Ant-Man at number 6. You think Blue Beetle is better than the Marvels?
Yes.
TMNT at number 3.
Yes.
Guardians at number 2.
Yes.
Spider-Verse at number 1.
No.
What?
Yeah, I'd say The Flash at number 8. The more I think about that movie and how rushed it was, the more I have to give it the...
There's a reason I bought the Spider-Verse Blu-ray, so I can fucking burn it.
I also haven't seen Shazam, so that's going to be an...
Can I have
I also haven't seen Across the Spider-Verse.
Can I have it?
But...
I already burnt it.
No, you didn't. I'm gonna have it.
The disc is not in there.
Okay, it's fine. I'll find it.
So...
This is going on record. He said I can have it.
On the part...
I didn't say you can have it. I'm confirming you can't have it because it's burnt. I'm burning it. I'll burn you while you're holding it. He said I can burn him, folks. This is going on the record.
No, I said nothing of the sort.
All right.
Content!
No, because I didn't know how long you guys were going. All right, so I'm just going to put this full screen. I don't know why I didn't have this full screen the whole time. Number 8 for me is The Flash. Number 7 is Ant-Man.
You saw Shazam?
Did I say Shazam just now?
Did you see Shazam?
I didn't see Shazam, so that's what I'm gonna have. I'll have 7 instead of 8.
Are you gonna see Shazam?
Fuck no.
No, you can't make the list. That's bullshit.
Number 7 is Ant-Man Quantumania. I watched those movies. Fuck you, except for that one. Number 6 is Blue fucking Beetle. Number 5. I think I'll go with Marvels. Fuck.
You have a terrible history of number 5s.
No, that's not me. That's someone else. Number 4, I'll go, TMNT. Number 3, I'll go, It doesn't, I counted backwards, so now my 8 goes down to 2, but Spider-Verse number 1, Guardians number 2, TMNT 3, Marvel's 4, Blue Beetle 5, Ant-Man 6, Flash 7. Alright guys, that was a long fucking stretch to say that we've wrapped up finally this fucking travesty of a review.
You should fast forward to when we make our list, when we just make our list.
Yeah.
Just got the in between parts.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely will. Don't you worry. That will be edited down. Guys, this was a long-ass review of the Marvels. I hope you enjoyed.
For us, I don't know how much you're gonna... You have, got some editing.
Oh, you think that argument's getting cut out?
Which one?
Which one?
Oh, good point. There are multiple. Guys, thanks for watching. Of course, you can find me right here on Screen Blast. Of course, you can find me at democracy.com, ATHEMOCRACY.com. Or, like I said before, right here on the Screen Blast podcast. You can find Martin right here on the Screen Blast podcast. The Sorry himself. You can find this man.
Point to Martin?
Across from me.
Oh, K9 Biscuits. That's K9BISKUTS.com. They'll bring you right to my YouTube channel, which currently, at the time of this recording, still has no new videos, but like it's work in progress. That's a New Year's resolution for me. And for that guy, too, he's going to eventually have videos on his channel that's not podcast related.
Cool.
You should.
I have videos on our podcast later. They're
New ones.
They're just 3 years old.
New ones. I have 3-year-old videos too, bitch.
Well, I have 4-year-old videos. Guys, thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned for more. Mark, take him out.
Oh, man, everybody!